Yes, thank you, Lord. We have made it to Friday.
Yeah!
Welcome to another edition of the Carton Show. Got my main man, Plaxico Burrow, right there. Got my main man, Mr. Willie Colon. Put the guns away, Willie, right there. And, of course, have you wherever you are. And I should give you a little programming note. This is our final day doing this time slot. Of course, Skip Bayless is back on Monday, back to regularly scheduled programming. We go back to the early morning, 7 a.m. to 9:30 Eastern time. Woo!
I'm prepared.
Everybody
for that.
good to go, right?
I'm prepared.
Let's start off Friday, the way we always do, with a little something we like to call Headlines. I have a new favorite quarterback, not named Aaron Rodgers, in the NFL. It's my main man, Anthony Richardson, who statistically did not have a great game last night against Philadelphia, but he warmed the cockles of my heart right there, doing the dirty bird in Philadelphia, mocking Eagle fans in their building. That's the kind of swag I like on a young quarterback.
Especially from a rookie, man. I've been saying all year long after the draft is that I think he's going to be the most NFL-ready quarterback coming into this season in the draft. Obviously, he didn't have a lot of great stats, but hey, you score 3 times on 4 drives, go 6 for 16 and 33 snaps. I thought he did pretty good.
Now, here's the best part about him doing the Eagle dance in Philadelphia. He did it on a 3rd and goal from the 1, and all he did was hand the ball off.
Yeah, I mean, you appreciate the confidence, but a guy like to Plax's point, he went 6 for 17, no touchdowns, no interceptions. You appreciate the confidence.
Yes.
You like the moxie.
Love it.
But chill, homie. You know,
come on, man.
It's too early for the bird. Yeah, unless you're that guy, which he's not that guy yet.
Yeah.
He will soon be
that guy.
But when you're a rookie and you do that, that comes back to bite you. Because you know what ball players do? We don't forget.
Yeah.
So be careful, young fella.
Look, the fans don't forget either. And it ain't like Indy plays in Philadelphia all that often.
Right.
But if I'm a Colts fan, that guy's now, I'm getting a jersey today.
Hey, this guy's the starting quarterback of this franchise.
Yep.
He's young. He's energetic. He's bringing a different, dynamic and aura to this football team that they haven't had in a while. And I love it, man. He's a rookie. He's confident.
Great.
And
Plus, I
don't like the Eagles at all, and I probably never will. I have a few guys that I'm friends with that play for the team, but outside of that, I would never be a Philadelphia Eagles
yards, by the way.
He threw for 78 yards. He ran for 38. I don't care about his stats.
Yeah.
My man,
you have to.
I don't.
He's a franchise.
It's preseason football, and the thing I saw out of Anthony Richardson was the cockiness I like.
I watched him in Florida when he played South Carolina. Obviously, he was the most athletic, the most biggest. He showed you last night he has the wheels, 100%. But a guy right now, I get Zach Wilson vibes from him. Too much, too soon. Not enough weapons. Jonathan Taylor's on his way out the door. The offensive line steady. Michael Pittman got hurt last night.
Right.
You're setting him up for failure. I'm okay with putting a guy in front of him and say, hey, until we get the cavalry around you where we can support you, then I'd rather see you do
what guy you putting in front of him?
You got to put him out there.
I don't think. We'll see. We'll see.
You draft him high with your first pick in the first round. You got to put him out there and let him play.
I'm with Plaxis. Listen, I understand there have been guys who sit out the first half of a season or their entire rookie season. It's probably a discussion for another day because you could give you examples on both sides of it. But I'm with Plax. Let the kid play.
Trey Lance 2.0.
Oh, stop.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm just saying, at the end of the day, if he's going to be your future, protect your future.
I will say this.
They didn't protect him. But standing on the sideline doesn't help nobody.
Well, at the end of the day, I'd rather him be spotless, clean, watching, learning.
Yeah.
First year guy.
Who's he going to learn from?
It doesn't matter. Protect him. If he goes out there and gets hurt, then what do you have?
He's a football player. At some point, he's got to play football. And for you, an offensive lineman, to be that soft mentally, I'm a little disappointed in you.
It won't be the first time.
Yeah, it will not be first nor the last. For that matter. Anyhow, again, I don't care about the stats. I don't even care about the outcome of the game. Thank you, Plax. When you go to Philly.
I think I did that a couple of times.
I think you did.
Oh, I did it a few times.
Okay.
There you go. All right, let me go to the second headline. Tomorrow night is the most highly anticipated preseason debut of any quarterback in the history of the NFL. Aaron Rodgers gets the start tomorrow night against the New York Giants. It's not like Rex Ryan in the Stoopy Bowl. This is first team everybody trying to get a sense of where we at 2 weeks to go.
I mean, as it should be. I think that he does need to play at some point during this preseason. I wouldn't think it's more for him. It's more for the wide receivers. For him to get a rapport with these guys in a real game time situation to where guys are getting tackled, getting back to the line of scrimmage, the play clock is going, and different things like that, because these guys are still young.
Yeah.
And it's not going to affect him like it does these guys, because Aaron is going into his 19th season. So he knows how to manage himself and manage the game and be able to go out and play football.
Yeah, now look, there is one bit of news for the Jets outside of Aaron Rodgers. That's Alan Lazard.
Yeah.
Had a little AC joint, I don't want to say injury, because they're saying he will absolutely be there week 1, but he's not going to be on the field tomorrow night.
No, I think it's big because, Aaron hasn't played in a preseason game since 2018.
Right.
Now he's going out there with a young outfit, and expectations are high. We sat here for the last 2 days and talked about you just needed a taste. You want to see him look good and polished, and what this offensive line and how they're going to protect him. I like him playing. I also said and been on record, I want him to play more than a series. Play him a half, and the Salas agreed to that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you got to work out through those kinks. You've been on the field, and when Greg was here, we talked about from an offensive standpoint, one series doesn't solve anything. You got to go through that maturation. You got to work out the kinks. You talked about communication. I talked about temperament, and it's also rhythm. He's a fast-paced quarterback, so likes everything on the line. And to see the field, you got to have him out there. And I expect him to look clean on it.
As we played you yesterday when we spoke to Robert Saleh at Jets training camp a couple days ago, I don't know that there's a specific number of plays, but if they go 3 and out, he's coming back on the field. Possibly, if they had a long, 9-10 play drive and it ended in a touchdown, you might just take everybody off the field at that spot, end it feeling great. But he does want them to go through the transition of drive ends, sideline, get the ball back. You guys are going back out.
But that's usually how it goes in the third preseason game for all the coaches that I played for, Bill Cowher, Tomlin, and Tom Coughlin. That last preseason game, you will play the first half, and then you have to condition your mind to go back out in the third quarter and get ready to play, to put your body and your mind in a game, type form for the first time of the year. So I believe he should play the whole first half.
And if he doesn't come out in the second half, that's indicative that they did well enough that they can sit. Because those times you come out in the third quarter, they don't see enough.
One of the things Robert Saleh also said was, his only goal, and I think this is every coach, is get to week 1 as healthy as possible.
Right.
We lose guys in the summertime, and that doesn't help you win a single game. So I doubt he's playing a full half of football. I think you get 2 or 3 drives, and then depending on how those drives go, he can make a decision on the fly. But, woo! I am excited.
Let's go, Aaron!
I get to see the savior
Wearing
number 8. That's right.
Man.
You don't want him to do well? It's big for New York if he plays well.
It's very big for New York.
I would hope he does play well.
He should play
After
well.
everything that you've been saying all year long, since the Jets have acquired this guy, that's your quarterback.
That's my guy.
And he loves him too. I hope he does go out and play well with his young group of wide receivers.
And listen, it's very important in New York, nowhere else, that the best number 8.
Wait a minute. Who are they playing against?
New York Giants.
Why are we not talking about the Giants?
But
because
where's your heart?
Come on, man. Don't
Where's
answer
your
that
heart?
question on TV.
Why?
Hey, man, I'm Big Blue. That's all I'm going to say.
That hurts. And
that don't hurt. It makes common sense. We went on to win a world championship.
Steelers, Jets, nothing? I thought we had a thing.
The Jets was more of a business.
You ruined our thing.
The Jets was.
You have chosen a side, Flex.
By the way, they both played for the Steelers. They both played for the Jets, and they're not friends at all.
At all.
Great.
No,
it's good to establish that right off the top.
Come on, man.
I will say this to answer your question, and I need to be honest with you. The reason we're not focused on the Giants tomorrow night is that I'm not a Giants fan.
Right.
If I were a Giants fan,
I just love how nobody's talking about my guys, but just kind of flying under the radar in the NFC East. But we will see the Jets again during the regular season.
Yes, we will.
So that's when it's going to get interesting for me.
I'm thinking about having you over to watch that game together.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah.
Let me go to I didn't invite you. Let me go to headline number 3 right here. Kenny Pickett last night. Again, stats really don't matter, but he looked good.
That throw matters.
Yeah, George Pickens looked great, makes a great play. Good throw by Kenny. He was 4 for 4 last night, 86 yards. And again, it's preseason. I know it don't mean anything. Playing against the backups for Atlanta, but the Steeler offense looked pretty good.
But you know what it means to me is either the Pittsburgh Steelers offense was looking that good or the Atlanta Falcons are that bad.
There you go.
Because when they were running the football, you could drive cars through these holes. I mean, they weren't even getting in the backfield, getting any pressure up front defensively, and they just ran over top of the Atlanta Falcons. I watched like the first half, and they were just going up and down the football
look at that
field like they were a high school football team.
Well, there was a reason for that. They were playing against the twos. Right?
Yes, they were playing against backups.
Well, that don't make you feel good, though.
Well, at the end of the day, when you're the first team offense going to twos, you should have a day like that. And I think what I saw yesterday was Kenny Pickett starting to put it all together. He looked as polished. He looked like he's going through the second-year jump, what you need out of a franchise quarterback. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the answers that you needed to see last night was this offensive line play better, and they were outstanding last night.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett's one of those weird guys where he had some moments last year that were very good, obviously, when he finally got his chance, and the team rallied around him, and they had a great second half of the season where they got over 500, but I don't think anyone's 100% sold on him yet. He's looked good this preseason.
I mean, he's a Pittsburgh guy. I mean, obviously, him playing at the University of Pittsburgh and then going next door
and real quick,
to the
tell
building.
everybody how, and I didn't know this literally until he got drafted, that the Steelers and the University of Pittsburgh share practice space. I didn't knew that.
Same facility. The locker room is basically on the other side of ours.
Yeah.
It's basically the same building.
Me and Plex shared the steam room. We were in the steam room together. That's how close. That's why I thought we had a thing. We just left it.
Well,
I mean, you don't want to tell America?
No.
It's also why you went to New York. Because you thought you had a thing.
I know we had a thing. Sorry.
Let me give you real quick the final headline of the morning. It's from the NBA. And if you live in Milwaukee, it's one thing to lose Aaron Rodgers after 19 years. It's another thing to lose Giannis in his prime. He ain't out there yet, but he did come out yesterday and say that he needs to see that everybody is going to sacrifice like he does. And if he doesn't feel like everybody is on the same page going for a second championship, he's not quite sure if that's where he's going to re-sign and spend the next 10 years of his life. Contractually, he has this year $45 million. Next year, $48 million. And then the 25-26 NBA season, it is a player option for $52 million. So he is a buck no matter what, if they want him to be, for the next 2 years. But what he's doing, and it's not stupid, he's giving the organization notice, and he's setting the fans up for, hey, I'm with you guys. Let's put pressure on the organization to make sure we got the talent around me that's going to allow us to win one.
Well, I think they do have the talent around them. They just didn't play well in the playoffs. Obviously, excellent in the playoff in the first round.
He got hurt,
to the mind. He got hurt. But when he uses the word sacrifice, I would assume that he's saying that, his teammates aren't putting in the work that he's putting in to help the Milwaukee Bucks get to a world championship. Because outside of that, I don't know what other sacrifice he would be making other than, playing in Milwaukee. But I think that they do have to get some more guys around them. Chris Middleton really didn't show up in the playoffs this year for the last couple of years that he's been playing. So it's we're talking about 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's a weird thing also because you could give Middleton a lot of the credit for the championship they won.
Right.
He was badass in that postseason. But what he's doing is smart.
Right.
Because he's setting the table a year or two in advance of what might happen. And let's be honest, you're a New Yorker now. You've always been a New Yorker.
Baby.
I was born and raised here. There's a picture we all want to see. Show me the picture.
What picture is that?
Yeah! Let's go, baby! Bring him home! So, allow me to say this. If you're in Milwaukee, I hope you don't have the same level of sacrifice. I hope you disappoint Giannis significantly over the next 12 to 18 months. And that day is coming soon.
Really?
And I don't care.
Significantly?
Significantly. I hope Middleton's lazy. I hope Drew Holiday doesn't want to play. I hope the ownership isn't committed to a second championship. I want him out, and I want him on 33rd and 7th in New York City, rocking the orange and blue for the New York Knicks. Yes.
It would be a beautiful
And by the way,
thing.
and I'll tell you something else. You put that picture back up there, Charles Oakley can shove it.
What?
Don't
talk about Oakley like that.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you.
You want me to get out?
That didn't come from me.
You want me to get
I
out?
didn't say that. Craig
Not
said
talking
that.
about Charles Oakley like
Yeah.
that.
I'll tell you one better. If I gave Giannis, I would even say this. Yo, Oak, your barbecue stinks.
Hey!
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
There's bubbles to
Let me just say
My
this
man
real quick.
Oak can get down in that
Oak
kitchen
is still
now.
scrap now.
Charles Oakley, can handle himself, and B, happens to be a great chef.
Yes.
He auctions off every year about 5 or 6 times. Oakley comes to your house and barbecues. Right. And I've had it. You guys have had it.
Yeah.
It's money.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
being said,
Nope.
You cannot take those words back. You can't take it back.
Don't back up.
Charles Oakley never won a title here. Giannis brings me the trophy. I forget Oakley's first name.
Hey, I didn't say that. Craig said it. We got it on tape.
I've known Charles a long time. I love him.
Great man.
But I will forget your name if I get Giannis. Aren't I a good friend?
Okay. You got his number.
Look, I'm desperate for a title, boys. I'm desperate for a title. We got Plaxico Burress. We got Willie Colon. We got lots to do on this Friday morning. And, of course, that means that guy right there, some Dallas Cowboy talk. Dak spoke about the pressure and the need and want to win a Super Bowl right after this.
Hey, college football fans, Joel Klatt here. We are bringing you the best college football analysis every week. Any questions? Then send them into the Joel Klatt Show mailbag. Follow the Joel Klatt Show on the Fox Sports app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Good to have you back. Hey, there's Dak Prescott. Unlike Aaron Rodgers, unlike Kenny Pickett, unlike Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott will not be seen on a preseason football field. Hate to lead the league in interceptions before the season starts, but he did talk about the Super Bowl drought in Dallas and how much he and the guys in that locker room want to be a part of the Cowboy franchise that ends the drought. Here's Mr. Prescott. Go ahead.
We hold ourselves to a high standard and high expectations, and so nobody wants to end this drought more than the guys in this locker room. I can promise you that. And so for us, it's about making sure that we know our identity, we believe in our identity as a team. We go out there, we play complementary football on all 3 levels, and I think if we do that, just from what we've built on the offseason to the training camp to now, it's promising.
Well, look, here's the reality, Plax. You and I have talked about it on this show a lot. From a pure just talent standpoint, the Dallas Cowboys have the goods to be in the conversation. We know what Philly is. We know what San Francisco is. But they've got depth at wide receiver. You've got a very good defense. Guys who've also got the bag and made their money. You've got the best defensive player in the sport right now. And it's really on his shoulders because they are a good football team.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more on the shoulders because I believe Dallas probably will have one of those top 1, 2, or 3 defenses in the league. So it's going to be more glaring even on Dak to go out offensively and put up some points. If their defense is holding guys at 16, 17 points a game, they can't go out and put up 21 points, then all the blame is going to be shifted to him.
Sure.
And the fact that he's not going to be playing the preseason, I just think that he needs to get, he needs to get out and get some reps with this offense because, all of these teams that we expect to get off to great starts and fast starts, they don't play during the preseason. And then after that first month where these teams are who are we as a football team, they're still trying to figure it out because none of these guys have played during the preseason. Right. And I just don't think it really helps him or the offense going into the season.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. You're talking about a guy who's now with Mike McCarthy, had multiple 12-win seasons.
Yep.
And we forget that this man retired Tom Brady, right? So I think he's prepared for the season.
He did not retire
Wait a minute.
He didn't retire Tom Brady.
He did not retire Tom Brady.
Me on that?
Todd Bowles retired Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was in his 31st season.
He retired Tom Brady, moved on and lost to the San Francisco 49ers. I think he's going to be fine. I think what we talked about earlier in the week is optics in camp has been shaky, right?
He has not played well.
He has not played well. He looks interception happy. I think him kind of taking a break, resetting. And you got to understand, losing Kellen Moore is going to be big. Right now, Mike McCarthy he's calling the plays. He's taking over the offense. So I think having that time to say, hey, man, if we're going to start the season off right, let me sit back and make sure I'm on par.
Yeah, but let me stop you there. I mean, Kellen Moore, getting rid of Kellen Moore to me is a scapegoat. Where now it was like, we're publicly blaming Kellen Moore for Dak Prescott leading the league in interceptions. Right. And we watched every Cowboy game. That's not a fair assessment of why the Cowboys didn't play well. Dak didn't play well, not because of Kellen Moore.
I don't think he didn't. I agree with that. But I also think they could have made it easier for him. If you see, because now with Mike McCarthy and his offense, now it's more intermediate route. It's crossing routes. It's about getting the ball. It's not about the long ball. Having continuous drives, extending drives to the point where he can stay on the field and give that defense a rest. Because the defense played lights out last year, to your point. Right. But now it's about Dak proving up that he can handle the load.
I'll tell you, if I'm a Cowboy fan and I hear that we're going to throw more out patterns, I'm scared to death because that's the one pass that kid can't throw. That's what
it seems like that's where all the picks are coming from.
Right.
Throwing to the outside.
I want him to throw the ball deep.
Right.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Figure it out.
He definitely has the guys that can get deep. CD Lamb and Michael Gallup and some of those guys. But I would say from a quarterbacking standpoint, going into the season where everybody, he's basically saying they hold themselves to a high standard, you build confidence through seeing yourself have success and do great things on the football field.
Yeah.
And him walking into week 1, Sunday night against the Giants, if they lose to the Giants, which they will on Sunday night,
there you go.
Then I can't wait to see what the media and everybody's reaction is going to be.
Now, unless it's like a 35-31 game and Dak's throwing for 380 and 3 scores, but if they lose to the Giants on Sunday night,
2 or 3 picks, you can forget about it.
It's going to be, hey, get Cooper Rush ready.
I just want to be here for that one.
By the way, today is an anniversary. We should acknowledge it. It was 7 years ago today that Tony Romo got hurt and Dak Prescott became the starting quarterback. Oh, there it is right there. Broke his back. Dak Prescott became the starting quarterback. In Dallas, they do call that D-Day. No disrespect to, obviously, historical D-Day. But it's Dak Day down in Dallas. So we thought we'd put together the top 4 moments in Dak Prescott's career as we celebrate and honor the beginning of his Dallas Cowboy career. There was Christmas Eve in 2022 when the Dallas Cowboys were playing the Eagles. And remember this play?
Oh, you
yeah.
hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
Get him. Dig, Dak.
Now, to be fair, Dallas won that game.
Right.
But there you go. He ruined Christmas for about a half hour.
Oh, man. Look at big number 73 hustle. That's what I'm talking about, big fella.
Then you have the second greatest moment in Dak Prescott's Cowboy career. It was pregame, Sunday Night Football, what became known as the hip whip. The hip whip. And every high school quarterback was like, hey, guess what? I've got a new pregame routine.
Cocoa Pop.
Look at that.
What I'm talking about.
Then, of course,
I never seen him do that in the game.
Then, of course, one of the highlights of Dak Prescott's Cowboy career happened this preseason in training camp when a fellow teammate referred to him with a word that's very hard to use on TV. So I'll let Trayvon Diggs do it himself. Go ahead, guys.
Go, Diggs!
Like it.
They got to be friends.
Yeah.
Only friends are friends like that.
As we've discussed in this show many times, none of you guys ever heard a starting quarterback being referred to as a B word in your careers, correct? Other than Mark Sanchez, you said.
I didn't say Mark Sanchez. I said I said I heard it used. I did not say
that was pretty
you
good.
mean behind his back? Like someone said that quarterback is a blank.
Correct.
As opposed to you are a blank.
Right.
Got it. Much different.
It's all about context. It's all
much different context. And, of course, there's the number 1 play in the history of Dak Prescott, and that is the NFC wildcard game against San Francisco. Clock running out, and what are we doing?
Oh. Game on the line. It slides.
Tick.
And the
Look at the rap. Get out the way, rap.
Tick.
Oh.
Those are the 4 biggest plays in Dak Prescott's young career. But if you are a Cowboy fan, congratulations. Hopefully you're enjoying Dak Day down in Dallas today. Dak Day. A couple other quick football things for you guys. I had a chance to sit down one-on-one with C.J. Uzomah, the tight end for the New York Jets, and I was asking him about the comparison, if any, as a guy who played with a young Joe Burrow, went to a Super Bowl, of course, and lost, and now getting to play, at least in practice, with Aaron Rodgers. And here's what he had to say. Go ahead. You played with another great quarterback, obviously, in Joe Burrow. Obviously, different stage of his career, very early on in his career. Are there comparisons for you?
Yeah, I mean, the comparison thing, last time I tried to make a comparison, people were like freaked out on me. But I do think, there are, mentality-wise of being on the field and trying to analyze the game and seeing the defense as well as they do, there is for sure a comparison. Like you said, I mean, Aaron's been doing this.
Well, one guy's 40, one guy's 25.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the knowledge of blitzes and schemes to me is the most incredible thing that I've ever witnessed. Him him being at the line against our defense put in a new defense in terms of like scheme for a second, and him saying, like pointing two people out and saying this is what they're doing, and them looking at each other and being like, how the hell does he know this?
Look, you played with Ben Roethlisberger. I think Ben's probably at that PhD level. Certainly by the time he retired, he was. Walk us through what that's like being a receiver, and you have a quarterback who, like CJ's saying, and this is in practice, Jets put in a new defensive scheme for a practice, and Aaron's like, that's the Mike, that's the Will, he's coming off the corner, and the other dudes are like, what are you talking about?
Hey, the guy's seen it all. This is why I always say that playing quarterback in the National Football League is the toughest position in sports. Because of this conversation with this young man, the quarterback knowing and understanding what the defense is trying to do to him, and he already sees it coming. That's what makes him so difficult to stop, is because if he knows what defense that you're in before the ball is even hiked, then he already knows where he's going with the football. And the first thing that jumped off to my mind is, playing with Eli and getting to the line of scrimmage, and him seeing the defense rotating to a different coverage, and him looking at me and giving me a signal and saying a word for a route combination audible that we ran 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And I would look at him like, are you serious? And I'm like, man, this dude is so in tune and so in touch with the game that he saw this defense from another team.
So let me ask you this.
2 or 3 weeks
this may
ago,
seem like a weird question.
The line of scrimmage.
Does that make it easier or harder for you?
It makes it easier because he's already figured out, and he knows what we're going to do before the ball is hiked. Okay. And he already has the defense in his mind for something that he saw a month ago. And to be able to get to the line of scrimmage and to make that call and make that audible, it just shows you how intelligent some of these guys are.
Yeah, for me, when he's talking about hindsight. I mean, for me, when you got a quarterback like that, he makes it carefree. He gets the lineman out of a lot of trouble. When you're able to pick up a blitz from a lineman standpoint, we always have the mic, right? We got the 4 down. Now he's saying, hey, man, I see something. Let's slide the line. Takes the thinking away from us. Now we can just roll off the ball and react. We talked about that earlier. As an offensive lineman, you just want to play. You don't want to feel like you have to be the big brain out there. He's the big brain. Yeah. So when he's able to get receivers in good positions, he get the offensive line in the best position. Now you have efficient football, and now you have winning football.
Are there 5 guys in the league that can do that? Like, how special is that?
It's rare. And I would say maybe there's 4 or 5. Outside of that, I can't see or think of.
It's what separates good from great. I assume, right?
I haven't been around them to really understand and to know their IQ as play callers at the line of scrimmage, and being able to dissect and recognize.
And he also has the data. He's played long enough.
It's what makes him special. Like Uzama did go on to say, we're not going to air it for you, that they lined up for a play, and like you just said, Aaron yelled out some kind of audible to him for a play they hadn't even run yet.
Right.
And he's like, what are you talking about? He goes, just run it, I got you. And that's what it was.
Well, it also goes to what we were talking about earlier. It's trust, right? Because if you don't trust your quarterback to make that call on the field, you're like, man, go ahead. Like what we called is what we're doing. He's saying no. Trust what I'm saying to you, deliver, and we're going to get out of here.
One other bit of NFL news, obviously everybody's waiting, especially in Kansas City, for Chris Jones to end this holdout and show up. I had a chance to sit down one-on-one with Quinnen Williams, who's one of the best defensive tackles in the sport. Just got his big contract, 4 years, $96 million. And obviously Chris Jones wants more than what he has, which is $24 million a year, and just under what Aaron Donald has. And I asked Quinnen Williams about his comparison to Chris Jones, who's one of the great elite defensive tackles in all football. Go ahead. Congrats on the contract.
Thank you so much.
$96 million, obviously. Second, right now, highest paid defensive tackle in the game behind Aaron Donald. Chris Jones is out there in Kansas City saying, I want more money than Q got. When you hear a guy like that compare himself to you, how does that make you feel? What do you think about that?
It makes me feel great, man, because I compare myself to him a lot, man. I get a chance to work with him, train with him in the offseason. I talk to him all the time right now. In season, out of season, man. So if I have my name to get thrown around with Chris Jones, all the top guys, Aaron Donald, and different things like that, man, it's an amazing thing, and a testament on the organization, get me to that level, a testament on my hard work, and the guys around me that helped me get to this situation and get to this standard. So.
What's really interesting about his contract is that $24 million per is a problem for Chris Jones. Because if a younger stud defensive tackle took 24, it's hard to justify you getting $30 million per year. So that's the rub right now. You're in between 24 and 31.5, and you got to figure out how to bridge that gap.
I mean, other than the GOAT and the guy at the top of this list, statistically, if you look at the body of work that Chris Jones has put forward, I mean, he's better than all of those guys.
No doubt.
Not named Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Donald,
Aaron Donald. But it's a business, and he understands that he has this opportunity to really, kind of flex his muscles a little bit, and everybody wants to get paid. And there's a right ways to do it. There's not right ways to do it. But I hope he does get compensated for his play because he deserves it. But, all those guys that are on the list, they signed 4 years, $90+ million deal.
Yep.
And then he's saying to everybody else, hey, what about me? Don't forget about me.
Yeah, no doubt. He's getting fined $50,000 a day, and if it goes into the regular season, it's $1.1 million a week. Now, the idea is that you take all those fines and you add it to the back end of a contract, but you still out that money.
And he came out and said, listen, I'm willing to sit out half of the season. And he said, why are you going to do that? He said, because I can't afford it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, $1 million a week is a lot.
$1 million a week. All right, we got much more coming up. It is Friday, and my man Willie has not participated in this yet, but Plax loves it. It's called For Real or Fugazi. And we start in Buffalo with the Bills' postseason chances.
Everyone knows that when you want every score, the best highlights, and the biggest stories from the sports world, you go to foxsports.com. But did you know all of your favorites from Fox Sports can come to you? Announcing your Fox Sports Daily. Fox Sports' all-new, customized daily newsletter, delivering the top sports news and videos you care about every day. All you need to do is sign up on foxsports.com or on the Fox Sports app. And then just follow your favorite teams, athletes, and leagues to get only the news you want. The more favorites you add, the more personalized your Fox Sports Daily will be. So sign up today on foxsports.com or on the Fox Sports app and stay updated on the sports stories that matter to you.
This is how the segment works. It's called a For Real or a Fugazi. I'll give you just a random sports thought. You guys can take one or two sides. Either you think it's for real or it's a Fugazi, okay? Right. Let me start off with this. The 2019 draft had 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round. It was Kyler Murray, of course, number 1. It was Daniel Jones, and sadly the late Dwayne Haskins, okay? Of that draft, Daniel Jones is the best quarterback taken. For real or Fugazi?
The only reason I'm going to say this, because I'm a stats guy.
And a former Giant.
And we make our decisions based off of what we see and production on the field. So I'm going to go with Fugazi.
Fugazi?
I'm going to say that Kyler Murray has had the best career thus far as a quarterback that was taken in this draft.
Statistically, I'm not going to argue that, except that Danny Jones does have a playoff win. Kyler Murray got to the playoffs and embarrassed
going
himself.
Off of what I see.
What do you think? For real or Fugazi?
I think he's for real.
For real.
I like Daniel Jones, man. I think he's been everything the Giants need. Anytime they have to put it in your contract, no video games, that means your stock is going down, right? Let's just be honest.
You've seen my contract.
Right. They did that for Kyler Murray. So for me, I think he's on his way out the door. Daniel Jones is the future, and I like what he's done thus far. He seems dependable. They know who he is, and they got a legit outfit in the
I will tell you this about Arizona. It's not all that sneaky what they're doing. It's trading guys like Simmons, of course, just got traded to the Giants. They made some other deals, and they have stockpiled draft picks, high draft picks over the next 2 years. One might think that they're in the we're tanking for Caleb Williams game right now. I just don't know how you ever trade Kyler Murray's contract, but interesting take.
There's no way to trade that contract.
I agree.
And I believe that they are still the worst team in the NFC West.
There you go. All right, let me go to number 2. Trey Lance will one day be an NFL starting quarterback, just not in San Francisco. For real or a Fugazi?
Fugazi. I don't see him starting anywhere soon. He hasn't played enough football. That's indicative to why San Francisco's pushing him out the door. If he was to land somewhere, like I mentioned yesterday, maybe the Miami Dolphins because of Mike McDaniels, he was there his rookie year, or Minnesota. Why? Because Kirk Cousins is going to be out the door soon.
At some point.
And you're going to need a young quarterback who you can depend on, and why not give Trey Lance a second chance?
So you're saying, will he be the starter somewhere else this season?
Not this season.
I didn't say this season, to be fair. Just at some point in his career, will he start an NFL game?
I got to say, for real.
You think so?
When we're talking about this season, that would have been a different answer. But the fact that I do think he will be a starter somewhere else in the NFL. It just won't be in San Francisco.
All right, let me go to number 3. The Buffalo Bills, the darlings of the AFC East prior to this
right.
year.
Say it again. Say it again.
The darlings of the AFC East for the last 3 years as division champions are going to finish this season under 500. For real or Fugazi?
Fugazi.
Really?
I think the Bills have enough to win 9 games, going into the season. Even though your New York Jets are picked to win the division, but I've stuck with the Buffalo Bills because I believe they have the team, offensively and defensively, obviously because of that guy right there, Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. I'm going to say.
Well, Willie, let's take a look at their schedule early on in the season. I think we have it, guys. You want to put it up there? It's going to be tough for the Bills. I agree they're a very good team. Well, there's the whole schedule. Loss, win, coin toss, loss. I mean, 10-7, 9-8.
I can see
8-9 maybe.
Yeah, I can see a 10-7. I also think, to Pletcher's point, I think this offense and the whole beef between him and Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen is overhyped. When I first got here, we talked about Stephon Diggs smiling in practice. If that's the most that's happened in practice for the Buffalo Bills, we're in a good shape. But I think what's not talked about is that defense. That defense is going to be way better than what anticipated.
Yeah.
They have the best safety tandem in the league. Von Miller's going to be on a menace, and I think they're going to be right back where.
But take a look at that schedule starting in Week 9. The Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, in Philadelphia against the Eagles, at Kansas City against the Chiefs, home against the Cowboys, at Justin Herbert. That second half of the schedule for the Bills is like a playoff game every week.
Knuckle up time. That's what it's going to be.
It's a great possibility they can start off 3-0.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I'm just saying.
Can you put the schedule back up there, please?
The Jets.
Yeah, the Jets. And
Vegas.
The Jets.
And Washington.
I'll give you
There's
Vegas.
a great chance they can start out 3-0.
2-1's the best they can be after.
I agree, Carton.
Yeah. You agree with me or Plax?
I agree with you. I'm
Thanks.
surprised Plex is so anti-Jet today. I thought it would be.
Because I'm going with the Buffalo Bills
Yeah, but
and
the
Josh
Giants
Allen.
aren't even up there in the first 3.
Exactly.
It's just another chance for Plax to take a shot.
No.
Listen,
That's
he
what
had
it
a
is.
bad
I said
experience with the
3-0.
Jets.
Okay, I see.
All right, he won a title with the Giants. He had a bad experience
Well,
wearing
guess
jet
what?
green.
His experiences was the same as mine. Because we were there at the same time. I'm just saying.
I mean, they love me in the cafeteria. I got no.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. All right, I did not put this one in, nor did I approve this one, but it says here, Craig Carton is the best quarterback sitting at this table. For real or Fugazi?
Fugazi!
Fugazi,
I can
is that
sling
right?
it. I got an arm. You just haven't seen it. I can hit a crossbar. Anybody can hit the net.
What's this?
No,
How about this?
zero follow-through.
How about this? Boom, hitting the nets.
Oh,
that's
man.
right.
That Uncle
Green,
Rico form. What is
green,
this?
yellow, in the bucket. What's up, Plax?
Man, listen, based off of the arm that I saw a few weeks ago when you
Plax
throwing
had
the
a
ball
catch in the
across
street.
Fifth Avenue,
Yeah.
I got to say Fugazi, man. I've seen better arms on the couch.
I mean, he said it.
Plax, I thought we had a friendship.
Everybody thinks they have a thing. He turns on you.
I'm just going off of what I saw.
Hold on.
It's not bad.
It was inaccurate. It was wobbly. It was Peyton Manning wobbly, duck in the air.
Yeah.
But it did make it across
hitting
Fifth
the
Avenue.
crossbar.
Oh, man.
Now,
How many takes did you take?
That was the first take.
No, it
Joe.
was not.
I swear to you.
No, it was
the
not.
garbage can throw was the 30th take, but the crossbar throw, and they were mad at me because the cameras that were supposed to film it weren't even on.
Oh, wow.
So that's off an iPhone.
Okay.
That was first take Jones is what that was, my friend.
I got to say it to believe it.
Here I thought we had a special moment.
We all think we have a thing.
Yeah, Plax had a catch across 10th Avenue. Meant nothing to him. That's what I just learned. All right, one more for you here. The New York Yankees should trade, excuse me, I messed that up.
Here you go.
The New York Yankees should trade Aaron Judge this offseason. For real or Fugazi?
Fugazi, you know my heart. He is all we have. And I said this the other day. Listen, if he doesn't get hurt, chasing that ball on the track, hitting it. Why was that block in the outfield anyway?
It's been there forever.
But it's nonsense. Why was it even out there? The fact that he didn't play and he hurt us, and I think the Yankees were 7-17 since he's been back.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But overall, he's the face and heartbeat. He's our captain, and I'm staying.
Never hit a meaningful home run in his Yankees
Stop
career.
saying that.
Never been to a World Series. Never won a World Series.
Not yet.
We're talking about trading this guy from the Yankees. I got to agree with Willie and say Fugazi. I mean, who else are you going to have?
He's all we got.
Step up and hit home runs because
nobody else
lost
is doing
to the Nationals again yesterday afternoon. They've now lost 10 out of 11.
Pretty bad.
They're telling me there's one more. Plax, this one's for you. Willie Colon looks better in a Steelers jersey than Plaxico Burress. For real?
That is all man.
Fugazi.
Hey, the day that Willie Colon looks better than me in a uniform, I'm in trouble. But I will say this: he looks better in a New York Jet uniform than I did. But in the black and gold, tell me who looks better in the black and gold uniform.
Yeah.
What you talking about?
You got some biceps.
I got stung by killer bees. Things swole up, ready to go. War ready to clone. I look way better than Plaxico. No mouthpiece needed. All biting at the face mask. Look at that. Look at this. Look at the arm. First of all, he has a wrist. What's that?
Yeah, but he looks smooth. He
How
does.
does he look? Well, that's young Plax. That's why.
Plax
What you mean,
That's young Plax.
Who the hell is that on the left-hand side?
That's young Willie. Yeah, because the dreads aren't long. That's how I know. I was longer as I got older. But I look way better.
But we all know, though.
Yeah, I like how you have your bingo wings out there for everybody to see. I like
got
that.
it, baby. That's facts.
And then Plax wanted me to add one more to the For Real Fugazi.
Okay, here we go.
So here it is.
I can't wait.
Willie Colon. I'm just going to move over here.
So I can grab you.
Willie Colon is the thickest co-host we've ever had on this show. For real or Fugazi.
Oh, they caught me on a downslope. I'm turning there.
You got Gerald McCoy on the right there. You got Jeff Schwartz in the middle there with the Giants. And you got Heavy, you're my hero, Willie Colon on the left. What do you think?
Well, I had a rookie quarterback behind me. I had to thicken up. I had to embrace more. That's all it is. Come on.
Hey, I got to say Fugazi. I mean, this guy number 93 looks pretty healthy on the right side. So I would say Fugazi.
Listen, we got much more coming your way. It's first and football time. And John Lynch opened his mouth, so you know he's lying. And that's coming up next, right after this on FS1.
That hurts.
Harper hits one in the air, left back, it goes! Harper, the swing of his life!
MLB playoffs are near, and you know what that means, Alex?
Yep, Flippin' Bats will be staying up late and having all the fun.
From breaking down the most important stories in games, nobody's done what he's doing. Nobody, not even Babe Ruth.
To interviewing baseball's biggest stars.
I felt like I was pitching more stressed. I was trying to be so perfect.
No one covers America's pastime like us.
So as we sprint towards this year's World Series on Fox, please make sure to listen, follow, and subscribe to Flippin' Bats with Ben Verlander and me, Alex Curry.
Baseball is fun, and so are we. We're going to have fun, dang it! We'll talk to you soon.
Sorry, the handsome Craig lives on the corner of First and Football. That's arguably now the biggest bust in NFL history. Trey Lance, John Lynch, the GM of the Niners, came out and said something that's comical at best, and that is that they didn't cater an offense around Trey, unfortunately. But here's John Lynch. Go ahead.
You know, I think Trey made incredible leaps and bounds this year, and I think his games showed that. You know, he really, I give him a lot of credit because we didn't tailor an offense that highlights a lot of the things that Trey is able to do. Mm-hmm. And I think he grew from that. He just played within our offense.
I mean, come on, man. I know you want to say good things because the kid did nothing wrong. All right, he got hurt. That's the only thing he did wrong. So I do respect that aspect of it. And there's even a small piece of my heart that I feel for the kid because he never got a legitimate chance to be their starter because of injuries. But don't tell me he made leaps and bounds as a professional when he's your third string quarterback behind journeyman Sam Darnold and Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, because it's just not factual. Number two, you can't come out and say that we kind of failed Trey Lance in not building a good team around him when you've got arguably the most talented team in all of football. And oh, by the way, Christian McCaffrey behind him, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle on the field. Like, matter of fact, that level of talent can make an average quarterback look really, really good. This is, unfortunately for Trey Lance, a referendum on them not believing in his, whether it's football IQ or the fact that the other guys who were given an opportunity just outshined him.
Well, the bottom line, they have to come out and say they missed on him, right? They jumped from the 12th spot to the 3 spot. They thought he was going to be all-world. He was going to be a hidden secret. That hasn't happened.
3 first-round draft picks.
And on top of that, you look at Trey, you know, it's It's not that he just got beat out by Sam Darnold, it seems like he wasn't even able to compete. And that's struggling, especially because Sam came into the offense.
Sure.
You're talking about Brock coming off of IR. And now the lane was open for him to take. He wasn't able to receive it. So it's John Lynch trying to say.
But you know what's weird about that? And I think, Plax, you can speak to this as well, obviously. Yeah. And that is, of course, Sam Darnold's going to look better in those practices. He's got more experience playing.
Yes,
He started 50 NFL games. So if you thought Sam Darnold, who's still a young guy, under 30 years old, and I don't know exactly how many starts, but you'll go with me, about 50 NFL starts, in pads and shorts isn't going to look good, of course he's going to look good.
I mean, unfortunately for Trey Lance at this point, I think that the writing's on the wall. Unfortunately for him, the injuries didn't allow him to be the quarterback that they would hope that he would become one day. And obviously Jimmy G going down and Trey getting hurt, and you insert Brock Purdy into this offense, and he goes 7-0 to end the last season. He doesn't lose a game in the regular season.
Right.
They lose a game in the playoffs because of his elbow. We didn't get the NFC Championship game. We didn't get a chance to see him play. But I don't believe that he's that bad of a quarterback. I believe that he's a player that he just needs to get out there and play football for a change, but which he hasn't been able to do.
Look, he's never going to get a chance in San Francisco.
Right.
Brock Purdy's in year 2,
right.
And obviously they put all their chips in that bag. Not financially yet, but he's their starting quarterback.
And John is just trying to clean him up so they can try to trade him. It's going to be impossible because I think it's like a $14 million dead cap hit or the salary cap.
Yeah, he's almost untradeable.
Yeah,
I mean, is someone going to give you a 7th rounder and have him as a backup quarterback? You mentioned Miami, and that's not a knock on Tua. That is, Tua is going to get hurt, or there's a good chance that he misses some games.
What you mean? You know he's going to get hurt.
Some guys just
say that.
I mean, it's football. We all get hurt. And listen, like I said, it goes back to Mike McDaniels. He knows Trey Lance. He was there when Trey Lance got in the building. So if anybody that could tap into the young man, you hope can be the evil genius in Mike McDaniels.
All right, second in football, of course, tomorrow night we get Jets-Giants. It's the first time we're going to see Garrett Wilson on the field with Aaron Rodgers in a real football game with all the number ones on the field, at least for the Jets. I can't speak to what the Giants are going to do across the board just yet, but he said he knows he's going to come through for old man Rodgers. Here's Garrett Wilson.
It makes me excited, man. I trust in my ability enough to know that I'll be able to come through for him. We're really detailed. We try to be detailed in the meeting room so that we can take it out right to the field and do the same thing that we just talked about. And, it's always good to see it pay off on the practice field.
Look, if you can have 1,000 yards receiving with Mike White, Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, and Chris Streveler, the sky is unlimited for what Garrett Wilson potentially could do with Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, I believe he will. He's the number one wide receiver on his football team, and not to mention that he was the number 17. So I'm expecting for him to go out and do great things with his offense, and he is that guy. And Aaron is going to lean on him in situations. And when they need a wide receiver to make a play, but now it's just time to just put it all out there and see how these guys connect. Do they have the rapport to really take that leap offensively to be one of the best offenses in football?
Yeah, that's why we're so excited for tomorrow night's game. We've only seen this. Practice, we saw Hard Knocks. We have not seen them go out in the field with another team on the other side of the line of scrimmage coming to try to hurt you. And I think you may have 80,000 people at MetLife Stadium tomorrow night for Jets Giants.
Preseason
and you normally don't. But we're getting to see the New York Jets offense with Aaron Rodgers. It is going to be an event tomorrow night.
I think it's going to be absolutely electric. And to your point, I think Jets Nation's been waiting for this. They finally get to see 8 in the jersey. You've been talking about it. We've all been talking about it to nauseam. Now it's time to put some things on tape and see this offense go.
I'm so excited for tomorrow night. I was asked to sing the national anthem. I said no because I'm going to be so choked up.
Are you going to the game?
With emotion.
I wouldn't be surprised if you go to the game.
You know full well I ain't going to that game.
I would not be surprised if I saw you sitting next to Fireman Ed. I would not be surprised if I saw you there tomorrow.
I may go to a game, but it's only if there's a luxury suite available.
I'll put you on my shoulders if I'm there. I'll put you on my shoulders.
I've gained a few pounds since we last did that.
Haven't we all?
Yes.
You already did it before.
Let me go to third down football for you. Josh Jacobs, about a week ago now, right? There was a report out of Vegas that it looked like Josh was about to show up and sign the franchise tag for the $10.1 million, but the Raiders general manager, I think his name is David Ziegler, right? He came out and said, we ain't got an update. Here's him actually saying, no sound, all good, I just gave it to you anyway. No new update. So again, he can show up whenever he wants, but no update as to when.
Yeah, we just don't know what's really going on with Josh Jacobs and the Raiders because we haven't heard anything. But we do know that the Miami Dolphins hasn't been looking to acquire a running back. They didn't get Dalvin Cook. They reached out to the Colts for Jonathan Taylor. Jim Irsay has already said he's not going to pay him. He's not going to trade him. And also the Miami Dolphins reached out to the Vegas for Josh Jacobs. But if you don't want to pay these guys, why can't you work with these teams to trade them if you don't want to pay them or give them long-term deals?
The problem with the Jacobs one, as I understand it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because they franchise tagged him, while he's under the franchise tag, you got to give up 2 first-round picks to get him. Now, he could sign the franchise tag, become a part of your team, and then maybe figure something out. But Miami's not giving you 2 first-round picks to get him. I mean, apparently, if the story is accurate, they offered a 2nd and a 7th to get Jonathan Taylor, and the Colts said no to that. So right now in the moment, Josh Jacobs either doesn't play football or he plays for the Raiders, and there's not much else the kid can do.
To your point, he has no leverage. And once Saquon crossed the line, so to speak, I mean, Saquon could have held on for maybe 12. It didn't happen. Saquon went to play football. Jonathan Taylor stood on the market. If I'm Josh Jacobs, go play football. Get the money and move on.
Because you never make the $10 million back up.
You'll never make it back, ever. So
and by the way, he, as much as he's made good money, he hasn't made FU money in his lifetime. He doesn't have generational wealth. And you're a mid-20-year-old kid playing arguably the toughest position
and the market's not
physically.
Giving you anything.
And we've devalued running backs.
Yes. Right.
So go get your $10 million, be a badass like you are on the field, and knock on wood, they don't franchise you again next year. Which, of course, they probably
will.
will.
You want some more money, you can always walk across the street and put it in the slot machine or put it on the.
I do not recommend that. Life experience.
They are in Vegas.
Yes, they are in Vegas, no doubt. And let me give you 4th in football. Banged up this summer, but second-year running back Kenny Walker for the Seattle Seahawks thinks Seattle can make an even better run than they did last year when they lost in the first round of the playoffs to San Francisco. Here's the man they call K9.
You know, I expect us to go far. We got a team, we got the people and the players to do it. I feel like we just got to execute and take it one game at a time.
Look, the real question for me, and it's not because of our personal thing, is can Geno Smith replicate what he did last year? No reason he can't. But Geno Smith playing at the level he played last year gives Seattle a chance, especially when you consider very good a wide receiver, and that kid's a stud.
I think Geno Smith and his offense will be even better than last year. When the Seattle Seahawks got rid of Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson at the same time, I'm saying to myself, I said, listen, these guys are going to finish last in the division.
Right.
But what he showed me last year, commanding that offense and being able to pull out 9 wins, I'm going to go on the record and say I think the San Francisco 49ers are overrated. I really do.
Really?
Because, listen, I think that the Seattle Seahawks have a chance to win the division in the NFC West. One, because we haven't seen Brock Purdy go through any obstacles.
Right.
He was 7-0 last year. Obviously, he won all the games in the regular season. But we haven't seen him go through any adversity as a player. If they do lose 2 or 3 games in a row, what is going to be his mentality moving forward? And what do Kyle Shanahan what do they do with Brock Purdy if he's not playing?
And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, it was either tied or Seattle was winning at halftime of that playoff game against San Francisco. Right. And then San Francisco obviously ran away in the second half a little bit. But they were right there neck and neck in a playoff game against San Francisco. Hey, listen, it all comes down to one guy. And that guy is Geno Smith. He's gotten paid well. Yeah, but Geno Smith, it's weird because his track record as a pro is not, oh, that guy's money were good. He had a great year last year. Now Geno Smith has to play up to the contract he's gotten, which he deserved.
And he was motivated because Russell Wilson left, right? And he wanted to feel like, man,
and everybody counted him out.
Everybody counted him out. I played with Geno, very humble, very strong-minded young man. Number 2, what you got to worry about is you hope that chip on the shoulder doesn't weigh him down, that he's clear-minded. I expect Kenneth Walker to say that, right? Like, what guy is not going to say? We watched Tyreek Hill talk life into Tua, right? And then Tua actually put it on the field, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He had a solid year until he got the concussion.
So you think Plax is right, though? San Francisco better look over their shoulders a bit or no?
No, I think San Francisco
you can't just count the Seattle Seahawks out and say they don't have a chance to win this division. I'm not sold on the San Francisco 49ers because every year we're talking about how good they are in the NFC, and they just can't seem to get over the hump over the last 3 or 4 years. So I'm waiting for them to get to the NFC Championship game, win it, and then maybe go to a Super Bowl and try to win a world championship. But until then, I just can't say that the 49ers are going to win the division.
Yeah, Brock Purdy doesn't hurt his elbow. They beat the Eagles.
No way. Come on, man.
I don't even think it's
no.
I think Brock Purdy takes over that game.
I don't believe that at all. I believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are still the darlings. Yeah. They are the best team in the NFC. Not just the NFC East, but the best team in the whole conference.
Hard to argue that. I mean, they did go to the Super Bowl, and you can make the argument they're going to come back even better.
Right.
You could make that argument.
So.
I find it interesting, though, that you think San Francisco, you didn't say the word, it's my word, might struggle to win the division, but you're not just going to hand them the division title.
Yeah, you can't do that until I see this young man on a consistent week-to-week basis.
Brock Purdy.
Playing
or
17
like you say,
games,
he's going to have
Purdy.
a 3-interception game.
Yeah.
How does he recover from that?
Yeah,
right?
if he's not playing well, what do you do if you're Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch moving forward? Are you going to put Trey Lance in the game, or who are you going to start at quarterback if he's not playing well?
Well, it sounds like it'll be Sam Darnold.
Right. He'll be the number 2. Yeah.
All right, good job, boys. Coming up, we got your mid-show headlines, and of course, the one game we've all been waiting for, the premier performance by Aaron Rodgers tomorrow night.
The game hasn't even started.
Yes. Woo!
Hey, college football fans, this is RJ Young, host of Fox Sports' #1 college football show. The biggest names, the biggest games. The theme is we do it big on this here thing. Please subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, welcome back to the Carton Show. Thrill Tap. We're alone here, and of course, my main man, Plaxico Burris. Let me tell you something right now. I'm in love with Anthony Richardson. Last night, Colts-Eagles, final preseason game of the year for those two squads. And on a 3rd and goal from the 1, Anthony Richardson handed the ball off for a touchdown. And then he mocked Philadelphia. Woo! That is a veteran move by a guy who understands he's not going to play a lot of games in Philadelphia.
He did what expected. He's mobile. He's agile. He's probably a big 6'4" frame.
Forget about all that.
My point is, it's too early to be doing the bird when you're not that guy.
He is that guy. He's a starting quarterback for the Colts.
By default.
He is that guy.
No.
What do you mean by default?
Be confident.
What
Don't be
quarterback,
cocky,
on that roster is better?
I don't know what other rookie in the league right now is doing the bird like that.
No, what other quarterback on their roster
no turnovers,
is currently better, gives you a better chance to
slow
win.
your roll. Ball players don't forget.
Anthony Richardson,
keep doing your thing, Anthony Richardson.
I play Minshew.
Oh, stop with that.
What do you mean?
Keep doing your thing.
There's 2 different things happening here at once. All right, you can argue who you want the starting quarterback to be. We'll get to that another day. Right now, guys like me and Plax who have a disdain for Philadelphia see a young kid with swagger going into Philadelphia, handing the ball off for a 1-yard touchdown.
And doing the bird. He didn't even score the touchdown himself.
And what did all the Eagles fans do that they do better than anybody else? Boo.
That's right.
Oh, that's what fans do.
I think they made fun of his mom, too.
I think in the preseason. That's what you got to love, preseason.
But I love Anthony Richardson. Plax and I are on the same boat on that. He's going to have his struggles. Every young quarterback does. He's also going to have a play every week when we go, wow. There's no doubt.
Well, he's super talented. I mean, he has next level arm strength. He has the arm talent. He's a big body. You see his mobility. He showed it a lot last night. One thing I was really impressed by, when he scrambled, he got out of bounds. Right? That's what I appreciate. He wasn't a dum-dum and tried to lower his shoulders and get hurt. He was smart enough, but he was great for the most part. He did a good job. He stepped it up from game 1.
It's funny, during the last break, I went to see what they're saying in Philadelphia. Again, it's a meaningless preseason game for a team that just went to the Super Bowl and lost to Kansas City. He is now public enemy #1. Like everybody on the radio and TV, even the columnists in Philadelphia going, oh, you don't know what you just did.
Exactly.
Yes, but here's the deal. How often are the Colts going to play the Eagles?
Doesn't matter.
You gotta worry about
it doesn't matter.
You don't forget. I wouldn't forget.
He understood exactly what he did. He was been planning that. Probably.
No doubt.
He didn't know what he was
for
doing.
A week now.
He was caught up in the moment. He was happy a running back scored instead of him. Okay.
Team guy.
Team guy. That's one thing.
Statistically, he was 6 for 17, which is not bad.
78 yards, people. Like, what are you doing? Put your arms down, homie.
I'll take this.
Now, if he has 3 touchdowns, he's lighting up the field, then you give him the bird.
As Plaxton said, he respects Eagle fans, but he hates Philadelphia. That's all there is to it.
I don't like him very much.
Although he did once tell the bus driver, turn the bus back around, I need another cheesesteak.
For quality cheesesteak, yeah.
Okay, well.
So I might not be eating in Philadelphia either.
One other quick Colts story. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, there's a deadline, self-imposed deadline, for him to be traded by Tuesday. There is a report out there that the Dolphins did make an offer of a 2nd round and 7th round pick, and the Colts said no to it. There are other rumors out there, not substantiated yet, that there's 3 or 4 other teams, Chicago, Buffalo, and one other mystery team that have at least expressed an interest in acquiring the talented young running back from Indy. Now remember this, he is currently on the PUP list. If he does not come off that list by the end of business on Tuesday, he has to sit out the first 4 games. Yeah. That's why Indy gave all these teams a Tuesday deadline, because if you're the Dolphins and you make a trade for him, it's on you then to take him off the PUP list. So Tuesday's coming pretty quick, and I think we all agree Jonathan Taylor's going to be wearing somebody else's uniform.
Yeah, or you're Indianapolis Colts and just watch Anthony Richardson, look average, look like a rookie, and you keep him, right? Because he was the best weapon for the Colts the last couple of years. I don't understand it. I understand Jim Irsay likes to spend his money elsewhere, buying putters and orcas. Fine, I get all that. But right now, you got to save this team. And one way of saving them is giving your young quarterback a safety net and Jonathan Taylor.
And here's the reality. You can't name the backup running back on Indy right now.
No,
you just can't. I think Zach Moss, if I'm not mistaken, but Jonathan Taylor's a legitimate, top 10 running back, maybe even better in the NFL. And it just shows you the complete dysfunction in Indianapolis. From dysfunction to total competency for headline number 2, boys. Pretty boy Aaron Rodgers makes his Jet debut tomorrow night against the New York Giants. Here in New York, we refer to it as the Snoopy Bowl because it's in MetLife Stadium. Aaron wants to play in this game. He's going to play in this game. The only guy that is a starter that's not going to be on the field with him as of right now is Alan Lazard, which is a pretty big deal. He hurt the AC joint, I guess, in his shoulder. But they're saying he will be absolutely fine for the opener September 11th against the Bills. But look, this is what we all wanted as fans, and I get it. You guys can speak this, obviously, having played. You can do all the things you want to do in practice. You can have inter-squad scrimmages even with other teams, again, where the quarterback can't be tackled. And there comes a point where, you know what? We got to see it for real. Right. Even if it's 10 snaps, 15 snaps, whatever it is, it's time to take a look at what the Jets offense is.
Man, listen, I remember my first preseason game in Pittsburgh. We played the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
The first drive of the first preseason game, it was a 19-play drive.
Wow.
Now, you talk about being gassed like on the first series of the game, but this is what preseason football is going to bring. This game has a possibility to probably sell out. And everybody's excited to see this offense. I want to see them move the football up and down the field methodically against a Giants defense where I don't think the secondary is that good. So then, we'll be able to come in here next week and evaluate this offense of how we think they look. But they definitely have all the tools to be one of those great offenses in the NFL. Obviously, Dwayne Brown is back, so now you have the whole
legit offensive line.
So I want to see how Aaron Rodgers looks behind his offensive line.
Here's the deal, though, Willie. We're going to overreact one way or the other, right? If they have a 19-play drive.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, no, he's going to be right here doing the same thing.
I'll watch the game.
Yeah.
Because, I want to see it. I want to see what this product looks like in live action. And then I'll be able to give you a better assessment of how you.
We're going to overreact anyway, right?
If
they have a couple 3-and-outs and an interception and incomplete passes, or if he's ticked off because the receiver ran the wrong route.
Or if he gets sacked 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we're going to be like, oh my God, the sky is falling. Yeah. And if they go out there and score 2 touchdowns on 2 drives.
Super Bowl!
I mean, I'm going to be living in Vegas for the next 11 months, right? That's what's going to happen.
No, to what Salah talked about, you don't want his first hit or his first wow moment to be on September 11th on Monday Night Football in front of the world. You want him kind of get through those kinks. And I think what Aaron Rodgers has done thus far is really getting the younger guys prepared. It's one thing to know your job, but it's also the ability to adjust, what CJ talked about, the ability to understand concepts, and also understand that Aaron Rodgers in practice is a different Aaron Rodgers on game day. You don't want that first when he walks up to a young rookie and says, hey, man, where was your butt when I needed you? You want those guys to feel that right now. So I'm okay with Aaron Rodgers playing tomorrow. I just want him to look spectacular so we can be happy.
Yeah, we're also going to see the New York Jets defense is first team on the field as well.
Right.
Guys like Quinnen Williams, one of the best defensive tackles in the sport, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed. This is supposed to be a top 2 or 3 defense.
I mean, listen, if the New York Giants take the stance, if they want to line Darren Waller outside by himself, is Sauce Gardner going to guard him? Those are some of the matchups that I'm looking forward to because both of these teams have a lot to prove in all 3 phases of the game. Because I still think the Giants have an opportunity and a chance to win the NFC East, but everybody has already crowned the New York Jets for winning the division and going to the Super Bowl, and it's all going to start tomorrow. Yep. And I want.
By the way, speaking of the Giants, Xavier McKinney is going to join us in studio next week. Looking forward to talking to him. Talented D-back. It'll be Monday, guys. Yeah, Monday. Xavier's going to be here in studio with us, so looking forward to that. Headline number 3, Kenny Pickett's been damn near perfect this preseason. 5 drives, 5 touchdowns. Was great again last night as Pittsburgh blew out the Atlanta Falcons, albeit second team defense for Atlanta was on the field. But Kenny Pickett looked good, and the guy that everyone's excited about, who will tell you, as we've talked about, is the best receiver in football. If you ask him, this guy right here, George Pickens, great catch, keeps both feet in bounds. And again, it was against a second-team defense, but the Pittsburgh Steelers offense looked ready to roll, Flax.
If those young wide receivers, Deontay Johnson and Pickens Jr., continue to make plays like that, then Pickens will begin to get recognized as one of the best wide receivers in all of football. And Willie knows this. The standard is the standard.
Hey, there you go.
It don't matter who we play on the football field or who we're playing against. The standard is the standard, and to go out and play Pittsburgh Steelers football. And I just think that Kenny Pickett, he's been flawless pretty much through the preseason. And listen, never count out a Mike Tomlin coach football team.
We've learned our lesson. He's never been under 500, right?
And this revamped defense, you talk about T.J. Watt. Now, Cam Hayward is a question. He's been dealing with injury. He didn't play last night, so there's some little cause for concern. But you talk about some of the young guns they had. You talk about Joey Porter Jr., who they just acquired in the draft. Yep. You talk about Nick Herbig. Absolute dog. You would be talking about him for a long time. He acquired another sack. And also Alex Highsmith, who they played, another guy to complement T.J. Watt. This defense will be a top 5 defense.
Yeah, the only issue for the Pittsburgh Steelers, to be fair, is that division is loaded right now. Yes. When you consider what Baltimore's done with their offensive talent, Cleveland having what we think is going to be a comeback year for Deshaun Watson, and even Cincinnati, obviously, has been kind of the darlings of the division the last couple of years. I could make the argument that is the best division in football.
This division can go any way. It really can.
I agree.
On a week-to-week basis. And I think when you start to look at the AFC North moving forward, the question that everybody wants to know is, how healthy is Joe Burrow going to be?
Yeah, and it's weird because we did see the coach come out a couple days ago and say, physically he looks great, and I'm sure that he does.
Right.
But we don't know where his calf's at. You can look great and lift weights and even, maybe do some other kind of aerobic work, but that calf is a major problem. And to be fair, we don't have an update on that calf.
Well, health is always going to be a thing. And like you talk about calf and hamstrings, those things linger. You feel great in practice. You feel great in rehab. You go out there, boom, you're back on the bench. But I think for all quarterbacks in the division, the pressure's on, right? Because the pressure's on Lamar. You got the bag. Let's see what the worth is. You talk about Joe being healthy. You talk about Deshaun Watson coming off suspension. Now he has full reins. The pressure's on him. Kenny Pickett making his second jump. Now it's about him seeing if he's going to be the future for this franchise. So all quarterbacks in that division, the pressure's on.
One last quick headline. Giannis came out and said if Milwaukee doesn't get their act together and show him a firm commitment to trying to go after a second title, he will be a New York Knick within 2 years.
He did not say that.
He didn't say that. We're very excited about that, and we've even doctored up what he'll look like in the number 34 jersey. There you go.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
He's
got an MVP trophy, and he's got the Larry O'Brien.
He did not say he was going to become a New York Knick.
I heard it. I got his number.
I just said it, so it's out there.
I can show you the text.
It's out there now. So memo to Milwaukee. Don't try to win. We'll take Giannis off your hands. We ain't got no problem with that. Coming up, as the New York Jets get ready for the New York Giants, it says there, other amazing things I did. Listen, it's not about me. It's not about me.
Really?
I am merely a vehicle to bring you information that nobody else has. I sat down with a bunch of the Jets. You'll hear some of that right after this. And we have you here as well. I did spend the day, as Willie did also, out at a Jets training camp, sat down with Quinnen Williams, who's one of the best young defensive tackles in the sport, and I asked him about Super Bowl aspirations with the New York Jets. Let's hear what he said.
Like you said, man, like, first of all, like, we all ultimate competitors inside this sport, man. So we play this sport to win a Super Bowl. So it's like, when we walk on the field, when we put our lace our cleats up and put our shoes up, we're doing it to get the ultimate goal of winning the Super Bowl. So, but having Aaron Rodgers, man, this year, man, just been a ultimate, I guess, blessing when it comes down to playing against a guy like that every single day at practice, learning from a guy every single day at practice, and just getting an experience level on his mistakes and the different things that he do right, the different things that he do wrong.
Yeah, here's the funny thing about that, or interesting thing about that, is that we all know famously, now that the Sacramento Kings made the postseason in the NBA last year, the New York Jets have the longest current active streak in all of North American professional sports of not making the postseason. So when you consider that, and now here's a young stud player saying, we think we can win a Super Bowl. It ain't about just getting into the postseason. We think we can win a Super Bowl. That is a major change for this organization.
I mean, as he should. I mean, all 32 teams are going into this regular season 0-0. So everybody has the opportunity to go out and compete, and everybody wants to get to the pinnacle of this sport and to win a championship. But it's not as easy as people make it seem that you can just show up. We have Aaron Rodgers. We have a great defense.
But Flex, there's some teams that go into the year saying, we know we can't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they are. And the building over there in Forum Park should be buzzing because now they have a Hall of Fame quarterback leading this organization, leading this team, that this feeling that the New York Jets have probably never had from a quarterback standpoint, going back to Joe Namath. So all those guys, especially defensively, those young guys are going to rally around Aaron and that offense, and that defense knows Quinnen, Sauce, and all those young guys said, listen, if we just go out and limit teams to 17, 18 points, we have an offense that can go out and possibly put up 25 to 30 points a game. So defensively, I think for the New York Jets, if they can get stops and get the Aaron Rodgers back to football, they're going to be tough to beat.
Look, Willie, you guys have both played on teams where you knew in your heart going into a season we ain't winning a Super Bowl, and you've played on teams where you thought we can win a Super Bowl. This is a major departure for this franchise, thinking, and it's real, that we have the talent where if things drop our way, we could be in the conversation.
One of the things watching that clip, and I think as I watched it, he talked about Quinnen Williams. He's like, one day I want to wear the gold C like Aaron Rodgers, right? And I thought that was indicative to Aaron really pouring life into a young Quinnen Williams who has the bag. A lot is demanded. A lot is going to be appreciated from him. One thing Aaron talked about was, hey, man, if you're going to be a young captain and a young leader for this team, you got to know your team. You can't just sit down with the defensive line in the cafeteria. You're going to have to sit down with multiple people. What he's doing is changing the culture, which I tried to do when I came to New York, because I came like Plex knows. I left the family. I didn't leave a team. And the Jets, when I got to New York, man, was a team that was broken up because Rex was on his deathbed, so to speak, right? A lot of guys had left that locker room, and it was divided. What Aaron doing is like, hey, man, we're going to do the X's and O's. We're going to be who we need to be. But you got to be able to know your brother outside that helmet. And I think he's done a fascinating job of really implementing a system like, hey, if I'm going to depend on you, I got to know you. And he's doing well, and I think Quinnen is receiving it. So that's part of winning a Super Bowl.
So all that off-field stuff means something. Whether it's going to a guy's house, having a drink or dinner, or going bowling, or seeing a show or a movie, that really does translate on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. Just like Willie said, we didn't leave an organization like we left the family. Mm-hmm. And I think anybody that has played in Pittsburgh and played for their organization understands that, because a lot of the players that leave, they go back. Yep. And I was fortunate enough to go back and spend my last 2 years. Guys. But it's like you said.
I'm so jealous.
So when I came to Pittsburgh and I came here, I think the Giants went 6-10, 4-12, and 4-12. Mm. And everything was all over the place as far as, the team. Yep. And, can we put a product out there on the football field that can compete. Meanwhile, I had just left a team from a business standpoint that went 15-1, and we lost in the AFC Championship game to the Patriots. And we go to 3 AFC Championship games in 5 or 6 years.
Right.
That's the culture that I came from. So when I came from, listen, you guys aren't playing well. I mean, this is the media market, the best media market in the world. Imagine if we start winning football games.
Yep.
And that's what I tried to bring when I come in here, like the playing football and just putting it out on the football.
It's funny because you try to help the Giants create that, and Coughlin was damn near out of town as well. Mm-hmm. And then that is the reason you've told us before. When you went to the Jets, it was also because the Jets had just had some success, and Rex was kind of building what they had in Baltimore a little bit, and what you guys experienced in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, man, it was tough to move on. But the business forces us to do that, and the best thing that's happened to the New York Jets now, just like Quinn said, they are watching Aaron Rodgers everything that he's doing, and they're trying to implement that into themselves, not just on the football field, but off the field in the locker room.
Imagine how hard is it for young Quint Williams, who came from Alabama, which is a winning culture, right?
Yep.
Like, especially when you come into the league, and Platts can attest to this, man. There's a natural assumption, like, now I'm in the NFL, things are bigger, better, faster, and then you get to an organization like the Jets, you're like, man. What is this? Right. This doesn't feel right. And so Aaron now saying, hey, man, everything you thought it was, it can't be.
Yep.
But it has to be us doing it together.
The good news is that I did go camping with the New York Jets, and a lot of people are concerned. There's us. That's me. That's Aaron right there getting ready for a nice little retreat. I'm my main man, Coach Saleh.
Where are your hands?
And I know there's a lot of concern right now about the backup quarterback situation. God forbid my guy Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Well, the New York Jets did try out a new quarterback, and he did pretty good. Check this out. You see the colors in the nets. Me, Aaron Rodgers. Same dude, same age, good-looking guys, wealthy, great arm. Name a color. Ready, set, hut. Yellow.
Oh, man.
Bang. We made green. We made yellow. What's left?
These
Blue.
are not first takes, though.
Woo! I went Rodgers on the 3 colored nets, and now I'm going, let's be honest, old school Dan Marino. Lob, teardrop, art, right in Mark Cooper's hands. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Got it. Got it. Woo!
Hey, you gotta be honest, man.
Definitely not the first thing. I can tell you've been playing a lot of catch with Junior. I can tell. That was all dad throws. Like, you're gonna be a champion one day, son. Just keep.
You can definitely get the sense of when he walked on the football field at the facility. He felt like something. Right? He felt kind of special.
I will tell you this.
Yeah.
It was like, and I want to thank the New York Jets for having us there and allowing us to do that.
Probably
because they didn't have to, but it was like being at day camp.
Right.
Like I was sweating profusely after just a couple of throws, but it was so much fun. And not everyone gets to do that, so I'm grateful that they allowed us to do that.
You were there when I was there. How impressive. I walked up to Woody Johnson. I said, one man did all this. Seeing the stands.
Right.
All over, like you've been there, seeing the stands, seeing the crowd, seeing the production. It felt like I was like, if one man did all this, sky's the limit.
To be fair, though, before we left, I noticed that there was a matte black Rolls-Royce SUV in Woody Johnson's parking spot, and it was not Woody Johnson's car. It was Sauce Gardner's. He ain't stupid.
Oh, man.
And I also want to tell the New York Jets have very good chicken. So I appreciate the roasted chicken I had.
Hey,
I can attest to that.
Some of the best food that I've had in the NFL from that staff in the kitchen.
Yep.
But shout out to Chef Marcus. It was probably him.
Whoever it was, that chicken
I'm telling you,
on the bone.
Yeah, I mean, you could really go up there in the morning and like take off the list of what you wanted, and they will prepare for you.
It was great. All right, let's get back to football here, and that's Dak Prescott. I believe, right? Dak Prescott talking about the drought that the Dallas Cowboy franchise is in the middle of. Of course, they think they're going to end that drought, and it all starts week 1, Sunday night, against the New York Giants. And to be fair, Dak Prescott's had a lot of success against the New York Giants. Let's hear what he has to say.
No, I mean, I don't think you've got to guard against that. I mean, understanding that I wasn't playing preseason a week ago allowed me to move forward, watch some of their past games, and watch our games, our history with them. And, you've got to prepare. I mean, it's game 1. You want to start off high. You want to start off the right way. And when you've got that time, you've got to use it.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, and I got a research guy over here in the corner, Josh, I think Dak has beaten the Giants 10 straight.
Yeah.
I think overall it's 10 out of 12, right?
10 and 2.
Yeah, so they've won 10 consecutive games now with Dak Prescott against the New York Giants, albeit last year that's included, of course. But the New York Giants feel like with Darren Waller, with Paris Campbell, and, of course, with a well-paid Danny Jones, this is going to be different.
I think Dak Prescott's starting to feel the heat, and I think he's running out of excuses. They gave him a number 3. They traded for Brandon Cooks. You have CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup. This defense is locked in place. I think they're going to be fantastic. But Dak right now has to win meaningful games in the playoffs.
So let me ask you guys a question. It's week 1. A season is not won or lost in the first week of the season. When it comes to the Cowboys, there's overreaction either way. Right. And in New York, I've lived it. I'm a part of it. There's overreaction either way. Who's got more pressure to win on Sunday night, September 10th?
Mike McCarthy. I'll say this: everything, all the scrutiny for the Cowboys was going to come in two phases. It's going to be if they win, how did they win?
Yep.
If they lose, how did they lose?
And why?
And I think that's how Dak Prescott is going to be looked at and viewed this entire season, with basically Kellen Moore being made the scapegoat for the offense last year. Just like Willie said, you add Brandon Cooks, and now you have all the receivers that you need to go out and be an efficient offense. And he just can't lose it himself by making bad decisions.
And the flip side of that, Willie, is that as good as the Giants' offense might be, and theoretically it should be the best offense they've had since Danny Jones became the quarterback in 2019, you're still going up against an elite defense.
Right.
So that's why this game may not be indicative of how good the Giants' offense ultimately is, because this is going to be one of the best defenses they see all year.
And it's a division game. Anytime you play a team within the division, the expectation and your height and awareness goes up, because you know you got one more shot and it can bite you in the butt down the line, especially in the season. I expect that. Listen, he's beating the Giants. He knows the Giants. I think right now it's about optics. They got to cool out him throwing picks in practice. We showed the clip him beefing with Tavon Diggs. They want to make sure that Cowboys Nation continue to believe in him, because right now it's wearing thin. All the excuses are out the window for Dak. He has the bag,
it's funny.
he has the weapons.
If the Cowboys lose and Dak Prescott throws even one interception, and it's a reason why they lose, I know exactly. I know what our show is going to be on Monday.
Get him out!
Yeah, people are going to go crazy.
Yeah, and one of the things that jumped off the page to me when he said that even though he hasn't played during the preseason, he's getting prepared for week 1. It's so hard to prepare because you don't know what the defense is going to give you. He may be looking at film from last season, how they defended him, but as far as being able to have a game plan against the Giants and looking at what they did in the preseason, they rarely do in the preseason what they do in the first regular season game. All the coverages are vanilla, and he's going to be in a situation where he's going to have to read the coverages and react, because you just don't know what you're going to get the first.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The Giants made an interesting deal yesterday, acquiring Isaiah Simmons from the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, I told you what they're saying in Arizona. He was a major disappointment for them based on being picked 8th overall in the draft. But Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, did come out and say when he was drafted that he had him as the highest rated defensive back in that draft. That's why you see a lot of these clown shows out there going, I think Isaiah's going to be great with Wink Martindale. Yeah, because we're all aware of what Wink said about him a couple years ago. He was a train wreck, to be fair, in Arizona. I was on his last leg there. That being said, go to a new team, competent coaching, very good football team with a guy like Wink Martindale. Maybe that's all a guy like Simmons needed.
Hey, the reason why Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale and this team can make that decision because Wink Martindale calls a defense that fits Isaiah Simmons' play style. He's a hybrid safety. You can put him at linebacker, and you can match him up on tight ends in the slot, or if they're the number 3 wide receiver. He's going to be one of those guys that they're going to be blitzing, putting him in the box, and asking to be an athlete and make plays.
So you may see him a middle linebacker as well, right?
It's all about what you're
6'4" now.
Right.
What's the other? I was reading a story today, and I was totally unaware of this. One of the knocks on the Giants last year was that they were one of the slowest teams in the NFL. They have acquired in the last 12 months 7 guys who run a 4.4 or faster. They have become one of the fastest teams now obviously on paper in the NFL.
I had a chance to go to training camp about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to watch this kid how I played wide receiver.
Oh, man.
Man, he's completely electric.
That's a kid that ran 24 miles per hour,
Tennessee,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
And when the ball goes in the air, the ball can be 5 or 10 yards in front of him. He will run it down. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
The kid is that fast. And they add Paris Campbell to wide receiver.
Yeah, I did see a story that the comedian Kevin Hart challenged Stephen Ridley to a 40-yard dash and tore his abdomen muscles and hip abductor muscles, and now can't walk. He's in a wheelchair. Yeah. And I was wondering, when you saw a guy like Hyatt run, did you feel old?
And me and Imani was standing right there. It was like, man, I remember when I used to be able to run like that. Well, maybe half as fast as he did, because this guy looks like he's gliding when he's running, man. It's amazing.
So here's what's interesting. I'm not sure how you equate this at home. So Aaron Rodgers made the point. He saw Breece Hall take it to another gear the other day in practice, and they clocked him. Mm-hmm. And at his fastest in practice, full pads on, Breece Hall got to 21 miles per hour. All right? This kid, Jalen Hyatt, is at 24 miles per hour. You can't drive that fast in the school zone.
When I hear things like that, I'm thinking about myself riding down my street. And I look to my left-hand side, and Jalen Hyatt is running beside me.
Yeah.
How amazing is that, man, to be able to run that fast?
In pads.
You know what we have to do now? We have to test your 40.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
No, we don't.
Oh,
no, we don't.
That's not a 40.
If we can watch you throw a football, we can watch you run.
That's not a 40.
Why are you running away from me?
And I'll throw footballs. That's all I got.
Some things I don't want to see.
Thank you, Plax. I appreciate you.
Bubble butt.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
You line up next to me and you got yourself a deal.
Somebody gonna have a torn hamstring.
Yeah,
you wouldn't do it?
One blown Achilles and one torn hamstring. I guarantee you, between the two of y'all.
Yeah, I haven't been here long enough to get the Fox Health Plan either. So we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that shit just yet. All right, coming up, we got First in Football, and we've got the best 60 seconds. That's about all we think can fit into what we've done this past week. And that question's an important one. Is it the end of the road for the Buffalo Bills? Find out after this. The first 8 batters in the Yankee lineup last night were combined 0 for 26.
This feels like my prom date. Cold and a no-show. Can I drive with you?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't. I don't want to get pulled over.
In my book, he's moving on up.
Moving on up.
He's moving on up.
In high school, they called me Crazy Glue Carton.
Is he trying to say Breece Hall got a BBL during that?
You're doing me.
What are we doing right now?
First thing he looks for in a young quarterback is a big, thick ass. Right?
We were sitting here talking about Breece Hall's ass yesterday.
Yes.
We were literally talking. We had it in slow motion.
When it comes to ass, wear your show.
It's the walk away that kills me. It's like you're like drop mic after that.
That's all it is. That's Willie Colon, Super Bowl champion. That's Plaxico Burress, also a Super Bowl champion. And that brings us to a little corner of New York City that handsome Craig looks at, and that is First and Football. Let me start you off with Tyler Boyd talking about Joe Burrow. How long is it going to take Joe Burrow to get into rhythm? Well, Tyler Boyd says one drive. All the dude needs is one drive, and he'll be right back in rhythm. It's one thing not to play preseason games. We all get that. Organizational decision. Dak Prescott's not playing. It's another thing not to practice for a full month plus and then show up with the bullets flying for real and be asked to be the dominant player you are.
I don't believe that. I believe that playing the quarterback position and the wide receiver position, you need time. And obviously, he has some great weapons up, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and some of those guys. But you still need that time to gather that rapport for your receivers moving into the regular season, and the fact that you haven't practiced in a month. So I don't believe that he believes that. I don't believe it, but we'll see in a couple of weeks because Joe Burrow hasn't practiced with this offense.
And remember, there's a lot of divisional games week 1, including the Bengals. They are at Cleveland on September 10th. That's Sunday afternoon. So not only is he not going to practice and hasn't practiced in well over a month now, you're looking at more like 7 or 8 weeks without him even being on the field, practicing with his guys. theoretically, if you told me he had a full week of practice, I'd say you're probably all right. They're all veterans. That's the same core group of guys, but you're going into hostile territory against a very, very good defense, and your quarterback may not be as mobile as you'd like him to be, of course, and he just hasn't played.
I think he's throwing him out from the neck up. We talked about yesterday how they feel like Joe Burrow is really starting to get to the point where he's like Peyton Manning, where he's just so cerebral. He knows the game. He knows where he needs to be. He knows where to deliver the football. But from the neck down, you got to worry about the calf. How can you not? I mean, Jamar Chase said not too long ago, hey, let him sit out a little bit longer, right? We got it from here. We can win some games without him. That's indicative to they know he's always going to be prepared and ready when called upon.
Yeah, I think the real issue for Cincinnati, because they're obviously going to be a very good team, assuming Burrow is on the field at some point early in the season, even if not week 1, is that you do open up with the Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. And you could start the season 0-2.
Right.
Like that's not me taking a shot. That's real.
Yeah, that's real. I think it's real. And we talked about when you play in the division that early, it means more, right? And also, and me and Place being former offensive guys want to keep it 100. And we said it earlier. It takes the offense longer to gel and get ready. All teams across the board in the NFL, you won't see the real team till week 4, week 5, because hopefully your key guys have gone over injuries. Your offense is where it needs to be. Defense, all they got to do is see ball and get ball, and that's who you are from an identity standpoint. So that's why you say, hey, Joe, we know who you are. We know how you prepare. But we still may need you early because we got a couple dogfights.
Yeah, and remember, there's that stat that's out there. You start off 0-2, your chances of making the playoffs decrease dramatically. Now, to be fair, they go from that. They got Monday night at home against the Rams. They've got the Titans. That's not going to be easy. And then you get the Cardinals before you play the Seahawks. So it's like if Joe Burrow is not 100%, I don't know how he could be now at this point, and isn't practicing or even playing for 2 months going into that opener, you are staring down the barrel of an 0-2 start, maybe even worse.
Tennessee, I wouldn't sneeze at that. I mean, the Cardinals,
on the road.
On the road. Seahawks, bye. I mean, this could be ugly for the Bengals. At San Fran. I mean, it could be ugly for the Bengals early.
And let me do you one better. When you look at the last 4 weeks of the season for Cincinnati, if they do get off to a slow start and they're now chasing a wild card spot or a chance to win in the division, you end the year with Minnesota, Pittsburgh divisional game, Kansas City, and Cleveland. That is not an easy December into January.
Yeah, I just love when these teams in the division, they start off with the first or second game in the division and the last 2 or 3 games at the end of the season, because in the AFC North, it's going to be so competitive. I really believe that this division is going to come down to 1 or 2 football games. And if you lose the first 2 games,
trouble.
You're in the hole.
It's funny. I made a comment a couple weeks ago that everybody had a problem with, and I'll repeat it because you didn't hear it, obviously. I think there's a better chance that the Cincinnati Bengals don't make the playoffs than win the Super Bowl.
I think that's fair. I think right now, obviously, because of the state of Joe Burrow. And I think there's so much dependent on his shoulders and what he can do with the football and how much he leads his team. And one thing great quarterbacks do, they're able to put on the cape, right? They can solely win you games from the neck up and with their ability to throw the ball in key situations. 5 minutes left in the game with the ball in that man's hands, it's over. He's not going to make the mistake.
You bet on him all day, every day, because he's proven it. I agree.
So that's how much he means to
Which is why it's not going to happen today, but next week you're going to see people now not panicking yet, but saying, hey, can we get an update? Like, where's the calf at? Because you guys have all expressed that those calf injuries linger.
Yeah, they do, man. It's a soft tissue injury. Those things can go either way, especially as the season goes on. It gets a little colder. Your body just doesn't warm up as easy as it does during the summertime.
All right, let's go to second in football. The last time we saw Josh Allen, he was scrambling for his life in a preseason game, and we were like, enough of that, right? Let's put that on ice. Sean McDermott's like, yeah, you know what? I don't like it either. He's playing.
You got to play.
Sean McDermott said, and he didn't say because of that play or even how bad the Bills' offense looked, and it looked bad in that last game last week. Josh Allen is going to play Saturday night against the Chicago Bears, and I totally get it because, as you guys have said repeatedly, if you can, you'd like to go into the 2-week off period before the season starts, at least feeling like, we're good. We're ready to go.
I just love how I just think the Buffalo Bills are flying under the radar with all the New York Jets talk and them winning the division. I think the Buffalo Bills know where they are. as a team. Josh Allen, you get Micah Hyde back at free safety.
Yep.
You get a healthy Von Miller. How's he going to look on opening night going against Mekhi Becton playing at right tackle? I think he's probably going to whip him on opening night.
Oh,
but listen, I'm not ready to throw in the towel on my William and Mary product, Sean McDermott. Him and that offense, I think the defense is going to be a lot more stout than what people are giving them credit for. And listen, I just think that they know what they are as a team. The window's getting slim. And they need to make a run right now.
The biggest, listen, Josh Allen to me is not a question. He is what he is. He's got to cut down on turnovers, especially in the red zone and taking silly chances. I think he's well aware of that. I'm not even worried about the relationship with him and Diggs. I think it's overblown. I think they're just fine. I think people make far too much out of that. But I tell you what is a legitimate concern if I'm handicapping the Bills objectively. The last time I saw the Bills play a football game, the Cincinnati Bengals went into Orchard Park and abused the offensive and defensive line.
I don't agree with that.
Go.
I believe, from what I saw in that football game, obviously the weather played a big factor in what the Buffalo Bills do well. They get out, they come out in 4 or 5 wide receivers, they spread y'all offensively, and then Josh Allen becomes who he is as a quarterback. Once they got down early in that game, 14-0, the Cincinnati Bengals are built to run the football with Joe Mixon.
They ran it down their throats, though.
And they did. And I think that kind of, put the Bills in a bad position because now they were kind of, handicapped in the fact that they couldn't throw the football as much as they wanted to. They had to run it. So they got away from their game plan. Once they went down 14-0, it was too late.
Yeah, but it was weird. Like, you're at home. The weather was bad, but it was bad for both of them. And Cincinnati basically said, we are going to run the ball. You know we're going to run it. And they did. And the Bills' defensive line collapsed.
Stole AFC North football. That's exactly what they played.
Exactly.
On top of that,
the Bills playing that.
No, it's different because that time of year, everybody that's in that division knows we're running the ball, we're playing behind our defense, and however you think you're going to stop it, it ain't going to happen because this is what we're built for. But on two things if you're the Buffalo Bills, I'm worried. Sean McDermott, I think he's on the hot seat. Be 100. I think he's been everything you need him to be thus far, but they haven't been able to get over the hump. And the fact that they don't have a running back right now, because we just talked about late in December when it starts to get apple picking season, you're going to need a running back to kind of help carry your offense. So that's the
there's a running back available. If the Hines already went from Indy to Buffalo, obviously he's out for the year, non-football injury. And now the question is, would they acquire Jonathan Taylor?
They definitely north playing in this league. If you're north of North Carolina. come Thanksgiving and Christmas, you got to have a running game.
That defensive line needs to play a lot better because that's the lasting image I have. They didn't play well against the Dolphins the week before.
Fair.
At home in a snowstorm, Miami damn near beat him with Skylar Thompson, right? And then Cincinnati went in there and manhandled them. Third in football, I'm sorry that Greg Jennings isn't here because he loves the Denver Broncos, but they took another major hit yesterday as their best wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy, was carted off the field with they're calling a significant hamstring injury. So they lose Jeudy. They've already lost Tim Patrick to the Achilles injury, and you've got a situation with KJ Hamler, which is a real significant one because it involves his heart. So that one's much more serious life-wise than football-wise. But Russell Wilson's supposed to have this rebound year, and he ain't got nobody to throw the football to. Oh, wow.
Well, he has Courtland Sutton to throw the ball to, but this doesn't help Sean Payton or Russell Wilson in the manner of that offense getting better.
Jerry Jeudy's a stud.
Because now you have 4 wide receivers out. You don't know how a hamstring is going to go. When they say significant, that says to me that it's probably a tear. So he'll probably be out 6, 7, 8 weeks. You don't know. But for number 3 under center, it just doesn't help him get better in his offense. And everybody is looking at Russell Wilson and say, was last year a fluke because you had Nathaniel Hackett as a head coach?
Right.
Or are you really, getting worse as a quarterback?
Let me ask you a question. You had hamstring injuries. Some were fake because you didn't want to practice.
Yeah, whatever.
Some were real. When you had a real hamstring injury, explain to people when you try to run a route what you feel.
You just never know when it's going to bite you. I think
same like a calf, by the way.
Yeah, I hurt my hamstring, I believe, in my 5th year, and I was leading the league in yards per catch at like 21 yards a catch. I had already had like 700 yards in the first 8 games, and I pulled my hamstring in Cincinnati, and I missed the next 7 games.
7 weeks.
7 weeks because, like I said earlier, as the weather changes, it's hard to warm these soft tissue muscles up to get you ready to play. And it wasn't a fact of me just running forward. It's about sticking your leg in the ground and making that move when you have to react and your body's telling you to do something, and then it just kind of grabs you.
So real quick, during the 7 weeks, do you go out there and try, and as soon as you feel it, you stop? Is that how else would you know that you're good?
You get to a point to where a hamstring is so painful, it's going to shut you down anyway.
Wow.
It's all about pain tolerance and being able to manage it and just get to a place where it's comfortable for you enough to play full speed. I still wasn't full speed when I came back in week 15. It was just about me managing through my routes and getting to where I had to be.
So that's real. Let me give you one more. 4th in football. John Lynch trying to prop up his now embattled third-string quarterback. Connecticut said something totally ridiculous about how he built the San Francisco 49ers without Trey Lance in mind. Here's John Lynch. Go ahead.
I think Trey made incredible leaps and bounds this year, and I think his games showed that. He really, I give him a lot of credit because we didn't tailor an offense that highlights a lot of the things that Trey is able to do. And I think he grew from that. He just played within our offense.
It's just nonsense. Look, I feel bad for the kid. I do. He did nothing wrong. He got hurt and never had a real opportunity. And then when he did get back, they didn't like what they saw, and the other guys outplayed him. But to say that we didn't build a team around his strengths, he's a quarterback. He's supposed to be able to throw the football. You've got Ayuk. You've got Samuel. You've got McCaffrey. You've got Kittle. I ain't got to go any beyond that.
You got an offensive line.
If you're you got the best left tackle in football. If you can throw the ball 30 yards down the field in that offense, you can be a dominant quarterback.
At the end of the day, when you're a general manager or even an OC, Kyle Shanahan, so to speak, you want things in the second year for a guy that you just need to see. As far as getting the ball on time, how's the offense respond to you, making sure that everything's efficient within plays. If you don't start seeing those things for a guy who has had enough time to kind of be where he needs to be, then you have to start questioning. It feels like they missed on him. They just haven't admitted to.
They admitted it without saying it because they made him the third-string quarterback. Here's the other thing. You can't come out and tell 49er fans that the guy made leaps and bounds improvement in his game.
Well, he's
the third-string quarterback.
Well, he's saying on tape there's things they see that they like. However,
I'm telling you, there's things on tape they don't like.
There are things that they don't like because they didn't take the initiative to build the offense, to his skill set. And I think that's one of the most glaring things about it is that, listen, you took this guy in the 3rd pick, you gave up all these first-round picks to acquire him, and you are watching him every single day. John Lynch said he's taking great steps, but you still haven't played to his skill set to be
But what
the
is his
quarterback.
skill set? To be honest,
we don't know. We haven't seen him play.
You can say that, but is he a running quarterback? Is he more efficient like a Lamar Jackson, or is he more like a Jalen Hurts?
I don't know.
What is his skill set?
My gut is that they probably had visions of Lamar Jackson, that kind of thing, but we never saw him play. We just don't know.
The vision was when they got him in the locker room and they put him on the football, and everybody was like, who is this guy?
Exactly.
Who scouted this guy?
Meanwhile, I'll tell you just one other quick thing. When you're taking a guy that's barely played football and you put him in a practice where no one's coming to tackle you and it's a 7-on-7 type drill, or you're going up against air and the guy that you're competing against has 50 NFL starts under his belt, you are never going to outplay that guy. So that's the reality of why Sam Darnold is the backup quarterback. Trey Lance will not be with San Francisco beyond this year. And then if you like the kid and you're pulling for him, you hope he goes through a situation where he's behind a good veteran quarterback. And if that quarterback does go down, he gets an opportunity to play because that's about where he's at with his career. We got much more coming your way. We got the late show headlines, including the one preseason game, I'm standing up, that everybody has been waiting for.
You have.
It's Jets, it's Giants, it's tomorrow night, and we get to see my guy,
Aaron Rodgers.
He didn't agree to let me sit down and interview him, but he's still my guy, and he's playing tomorrow night, and we're all about it right after this. Mwah! I'll show my All right, time now for a little something we call Late Show Headlines. It's the game everybody's waiting for. That's right, Aaron Rodgers. Wait a minute. It's not just that he's making his Jets debut tomorrow night. If I can look over my shoulder, he has made his New York City debut officially on this show, King Kong style.
8 is great. Gotta love it.
By the way, just for everyone upstairs, I sat on my earpiece here, so I can't hear anything that's going on.
Good time.
Just so you guys.
Great time. Beautiful. Perfect.
Yeah, my fatness does. So I'm flying without a parachute right now. Anyhow, look, it's this is for. Yeah, I think you can all appreciate it. If you're a franchise that's been beaten down for a very, very long time, and you have the promise of, like, the Messiah coming to your team, much like Tom Brady going to Tampa, Joe Montana going to Kansas City all those years ago, et cetera, this is the beginning. Right, we've seen all the Hard Knock stuff. We've read all the articles. Everything's been great. It's been on point. Tomorrow night, we get our first glimpse of we are all hoping and assuming is going to be the greatest season the New York Jets have had since 1968 and the 69 Super Bowl.
You want to see an offense that's on time. You want to see no-look throws. You want to see him embracing the audience and the fans. You see him and Fireman Ed making a love connection in the eyes. You want to see the New York Jets look flat out, lights out.
Yep, and
right
it may only be 10 plays. It may only be 2 drives.
It's okay.
As you guys saw yesterday, Robert Saleh told us when we went out there the other day that he wants, as you've talked about, he wants them to go through the transition, even though they've done it a million times of you come off the field, we talk, we adjust, you go back on the field. And not just for Aaron, but the 10 other guys that have to now react to what Aaron Rodgers does.
Well, I got to disagree with you guys because what I want to see my New York Giants on offense dominate. I want to see Darren Waller in space dominate these little defensive backs in the secondary. I want to see Saquon Barkley get back to doing the great things that he did last year. And I want to see Daniel Jones be efficient. I want to see Thibodeau come off the edge and get some sacks on Aaron Rodgers. And ultimately, my New York Giants will win the game.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see. You guys want to see a great 8.
Yes.
I want to see a great 8 too on the blue side.
Yeah, the best 8 in New York ain't Daniel Jones.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah.
We know that.
Here's the thing. It's funny you say that. I wonder if New York Giant fans right now, because of the health history of Darren Waller, are like, we've seen enough. He's a rock star. Keep him on ice until September 10th.
I mean, that may be a possibility, but I still think he needs to get out and get some reps. We know who Darren Waller is when he's healthy. He's one of the top tight ends in all of football.
I will tell you this. Outside of Aaron Rodgers, let's get in the weeds a teeny bit, recognizing it's a preseason game. You brought up Mekhi Becton earlier. Mekhi Becton is going to be the starting right tackle, number 77 for the New York Jets. Kayvon Thibodeau, coming off that left edge. He's a beast. He has the motor that can get to a quarterback. I am interested in seeing how Mekhi Becton does, not just against the line of the New York Giants, but specifically against Kayvon, who's going to come off that left side.
I think that's the question for the New York Jets that remains in the balance is how good is this offensive line?
Yeah, for sure.
And are they going to be able to protect Aaron Rodgers? Just like you said, you have Thibodeau this week, and on opening night, when on Monday Night Football on September 11th, he's going to be going up against Von Miller.
No doubt.
So everybody wants to see what this New York Jets offensive line looks like.
One thing I saw in practice watching Mekhi Becton, he's starting to finish, right? Because when you have generational size like he has, there was a lot of talk about him, and I mentioned this, coming off the injury, coming off the whole weight debacle and everything he's been dealing with in the offseason. He was reacting in a stance where he was thinking and playing. When you're a football player, it's about seeing what you go, seeing what's in front of you, and reacting. He's done what he did against the Buccaneers in the preseason. He was a finisher.
What does that mean, a finisher?
Meaning when you're blocking a guy, you're not just blocking him, you're dumping him. You're making your will, his body size, and everything he brings to the table, you're imposing that will. So for him, he has to continue to do that. And he has to, like a guy like Thibodeau, do it against him. So when Monday night, it's not just you trying to turn it on. This is what you do. Yeah. So that's what they want to see.
It is interesting. Aaron Rodgers was right talking about Mekhi Becton, who's now a slight 340 pounds. He's dropped 50 pounds this offseason. He is humongous.
Yeah.
That is a man.
I did not know he was that big.
No,
he got up to 4 bills, they were saying last year.
He reminds you of a young Jonathan Ogden.
Well, listen, we are very excited. Of course, it's in New Jersey, MetLife Stadium. Around here, we're in New York. It is referred to as the Snoopy Bowl, and it doesn't matter who wins it. Except it matters who wins it. The New York Jets got to go out there and get a dub against the Giants. But listen, the world, all NFL fans want to see Aaron Rodgers for sure. I can hear them now again. I'm pretty good. Nice. My left cheek sat on it, and now I can hear everybody again. All right, my new favorite quarterback, not named Aaron Rodgers, is Anthony Richardson. I'm all about this kid who completed a whopping 6 passes last night. But even though he only completed 6 passes after a 3rd and 1 touchdown that all he did was hand the ball off to the running back, he mocked Eagle fans. This to me is like mid-season stuff that I love. Eagle fans, suck it. We just scored a touchdown in your building. That's a confident kid right there who went into Philly and said, "Caw-caw, caw-caw, I got you."
You can't be confident if you don't throw a touchdown. He handed that off. I understand his mobility.
Touchdown.
I understand that he's taking a little step from game 1, but he has a lot of road to walk. So
here's what we're going to see with Anthony Richardson.
Easy breezy.
We're going to see days where he looks totally in over his head.
Yep.
And I'm going to see moments where we go, I've never seen a guy do that before.
Right.
Right?
I mean, that's what all rookie quarterbacks go through in their first year.
Yep, but I love the kid. I'm all about it. I feel bad for him that he's playing for the Colts, and Jonathan Taylor ain't behind him. I do feel bad for him, but I think that kid's going to do some special things.
It just shows me that he understands where he was.
Yes.
He's in Philadelphia, and he knew that the fans wouldn't take to that very lightly, as everybody knows.
They are
Philadelphia's
panicking,
probably
not
some of the
panicking.
worst fans in all the sports.
Panicking is not the right word. I apologize. But I did check out all the media coverage of that in Philadelphia last night.
What'd they say?
And it is predictable, so pathetic. He doesn't know what he started. Wait till he comes back to Philadelphia.
When is he going to Philly?
Come on.
Philly fans are brutal. They don't forget. And
He ain't got to worry about Philly fans.
He will see him soon enough.
Colts don't play that often.
Yeah, that's true, but they don't forget. Like, that's my point.
They don't forget. I'll give you that, but I love that. Caw-caw, caw-caw.
But that's not how Eagle sounds, by the way.
How does the Eagle sound?
We have heard some Eagle sound. That's not how.
Go ahead, do a better Eagle sound.
I have no idea how they sound.
Well,
I just know the Eagles fans like to boo.
Okay.
That's pretty
then
much about it.
give us your whale sound. That kid, just real quick for background on that, Plax was here when we read the story that the Eagles defensive coordinator calls out plays by using animal sounds.
Animal sounds.
So we were trying to figure out what that sounded like.
I was just trying to put that in my head of how this defensive meeting was going.
Because wasn't that a kangaroo, I think?
Yeah.
And we don't know what sound a kangaroo
It's
makes.
like a barking noise, isn't it?
Go ahead.
I don't have it. Like a roof? Like a roof? I don't know. I don't know what the hell I don't know.
That's a kangaroo / hybrid dog.
Real quick, I know we got to take a break, but the other big story that is out there, we should spend 30 seconds on it, is that Giannis came out and said he needs to see a commitment from the entire organization and everybody else on that roster that they are as committed as he is, total sacrifice to go out there and try to win another title. And if he doesn't see it, then I'm not signing. That's the key of this. The last line there. If I don't feel that commitment, I'm not signing. Now, to be fair, he's under contract this year. He's under contract next year, $45 million, $48 million. And then he has a player option for about $52 million in the 25-26 season. So this will come to a head not so much during this year, but certainly over the course of the next 16 months. But he's now setting the table for a potential departure and trade demand out of Milwaukee if he doesn't feel like everybody else is as committed as he is to winning.
Well, a couple of things. He has the ring, right?
Yep.
And he also has the bag. He doesn't want to look like Dame Lillard, right? He doesn't want to be in a situation where he's going to be loyal to a city, loyal to an organization, and he's just kind of in limbo for the rest of his career. He doesn't want that. So now that he's already acquired some of those things, I can see him saying, hey, man, if you're not like me, when I have a bad game, when I'm having a bad game, and especially on the free throw line, what do? I walk back on the court when they're cleaning up the court after the game, and I'm shooting free throws. I'm passionate about the game. I go to sleep with the game. He wants to make sure everybody in the locker room with him is on the same level as him when it comes to commitment to being the best they can be.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when he says sacrifice, it's one of those three things that you said. and also putting it out there. I'm making a sacrifice by also playing here in Milwaukee. If this organization doesn't want to surround me with the pieces, then I don't want to be a part of it.
We got one more segment to go. We will monitor that situation, of course, throughout this all NBA season. And Tim Hardaway will be joining us for another season of NBA basketball. Dak Prescott talked about the Super Bowl drought, and we've got Like It or Spike It. Still plenty of time here on the Carton Show on FS1. All right, before we get out of here, and of course it's a lot of Jet Giant action for tomorrow night, Dak Prescott is not going to play in the Cowboys' final preseason game, but he did acknowledge that everybody in that locker room is well aware of the Cowboy Super Bowl drought. Listen to this.
We hold ourselves to a high standard and high expectations, and so nobody wants to end this drought more than the guys in this locker room. I can promise you that. And so for us, it's about making sure that we know our identity, we believe in our identity as a team. We go out there, we play complementary football on all three levels, and I think if we do that, just from what we've built on the offseason to the training camp to now, it's promising.
Yeah, look, I think to be fair to the Dallas Cowboys, because of the talent they have now assembled and as good as that defense is expected to be, the Dallas Cowboys, A, got to make the playoffs, and B, you got to win 2 playoff games. I know that there's ways of losing that you can accept theoretically, but I think that's the standard for them. You can't say you have to win a Super Bowl to have a successful season, because that's just not realistic and it's not fair. But having beaten Tampa last year and gotten that road playoff win kind of off their back, right? Now it's about crossroads time, legacy time. What is the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott with 1 year left on his contract? And I do think they have to advance to the NFC Championship game for this season to be successful.
I mean, listening to Dak, I don't think either one of us can sit up here and say what the Dallas Cowboys are from an identity standpoint. We know that they have a good defense that can be great. Yep. But what are they offensively? We don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's all on number 4's shoulders. And moving forward for the Cowboys, I just think that this drought is going to continue. It ain't going anywhere right now. It's going to be like Arizona and Vegas, because it's still going to be a drought.
They might be a playoff team talent-wise, but they're not the best team talent-wise either right now in the NFL, nor in the NFC. But I do think they have to. Look, you got to make the playoffs first and foremost. You can't lead the league in interceptions, and you have to be the reason why in a positive light, or else people are going to say, you got paid a lot more money than you were worth. Before we get out of here, a little Like It or Spike It, and that is the best player in the world of basketball, Nikola Jokic, still enjoying being a champion.
Why not?
Dancing at a club in Serbia, all the hot Serbian girls making a circle around him. That is called enjoying the fruits of your labors. Like it.
I love it, because I was doing it.
I like it. He's a giant in Serbia.
Quick programming note. Tomorrow, next week, we go back to our normal time, 7 a.m. Look forward to seeing you there. Have a great weekend, and thank you for watching. He is having a